first of all, I just like what I saw from Spirits, but also Falcons are fucking cursed. I'm never gonna bet them to win anything.
Okay.
They're until they win, I will not bet them to win anything. You remember I said they would win one of these two tournaments that they just played. They fucked up the one that they 100% should have won because they're fucking cursed. They just need to get the witch, whichever witch put the curse on them. They just need to find her.
The biggest news roundup, exclusive insights, all delivered to your inbox. Sign up to the HLTV newsletter today.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans across the globe, welcome to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. Maybe you're tuning in live, and if you are, that's great, because guess what? You're watching on Kick, where you probably are also watching 9Z versus FaZe at the Stake Ranked Episode 2. And you know what else is funny? Stake, they're the sponsor of this podcast. So shout out to them for making this happen, because they're doing things here, they're doing things there, and remember to gamble responsibly. I was just eating my Wheat Bix, which are not quite finished. I want to ask the question to the group. Would you like to see what my mushed up Wheat Bix look like at the moment?
I would, for content, yes.
Okay.
Personally, no, but I think people at home will.
People at home want to take a look. Looks disgusting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks.
What's is it milk or Greek yogurt? What's
milk? It's milk, and then I have a scoop of protein powder that then I mix in with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's why it gets so gooey and sticky.
So mushy.
Everything.
Yeah, but
so
it's
raw
so
milk?
proteiny. Raw milk? Like from raw cows?
Yeah.
My favorite type of cows. Just regular milk. You know, I'm a full cream milk kind of guy. No oats milk. None of that weird milk. Just regular. It's funny that I have to say regular milk. But the milk
you
that we
don't have
drink,
to anymore. It's illegal to call it milk if it's not from an animal.
Is that true?
They did it.
You know, it's funny. It's funny
They did
in the European Union. That's the thing. It's funny because we have like a product that's literally called not milk.
Yeah.
Like not milk, not milk,
Okay.
but not milk. That's literally the name of the not milk.
I like. Look, there's layers to milk. Sometimes if you leave it in the sun too long, as well, it starts
There's a lot of
to
layers to
curd.
milk in that case. Yes.
And then it goes sour, and you don't want to drink it. That was a story. So me mum, that's how old I am, used to say that the milk got delivered by a milkman, and they'd leave it out on the porch, like in glass bottles. But that's in Australia. That milk's not going to stay good for long. Guys, why are we talking about fucking milk? We got the major around the corner, and we got a lot to get into today. So we're going to lock in. Prof, are you locked in?
Not really. Not gonna lie. Not really, but I'm getting there. I got this guy. It's big. It's caffeinated, has caffeine inside, and it's gonna get us somewhere. In like 5 to 10 minutes, I feel like I'm gonna be activated.
Okay.
I need the community. I need the push. I need people in chat to do something.
But you're not fully locked in, but you will get there. Striker, on a scale of 1 to locked in, where are you finding yourself?
Yeah, I'm about a 7. Like I'm also pretty.
He's not locked in, but he's not
there.
locked out. He's here.
Lucas woke up 3 minutes ago.
Lucas, what color T-shirt are you wearing?
See, should I be wearing clothes?
He did say it's 32 degrees in his apartment, so
all right, look, let's get into it, boys. I've done up a bit of a bumper PowerPoint presentation for today that's going to take us over some Season 1 2026 recap stuff. I actually think it's nicer to do the season recap before the major, because then we can look at the major in reflection to the rest of the season. We can still reflect on the major once the major's concluded, but anyway, we got that happening. Then we're going to get into the IEM Cologne previewing and get through all that good stuff. And then if we have time, which we probably won't, we can talk about some of these other events that regarding the VRS that's gone on. Udnud's been putting out a lot of good tweets regarding this lately, and I think it might be worth a conversation if we have time. Okay, so top of the show, the major starts in, 4 sleeps? Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night. 4 sleeps, everybody. 4 sleeps. In 4 sleeps, the major begins. It's kind of like the countdown to Christmas, but in summertime, and it's going to be hot.
So that depends on how many naps you have.
True.
Think about that part.
True. That is a good point. Well, we'll try and keep the framing of people sleeping once a day. But if you do have naps, then kind of factor that into the equation. So let's just jump into our regular scheduled programming, which is the top comment that we do with Snake every week. You can win yourself a Vitality jersey, and this is where I hand the reins over to Prof in the early stages, and he'll let us know what the top comments from the YouTube video on last week's episode were and your community interaction.
Of course. I want to say also shout out to the Spotify users. New record, I think 35 comments, at least record in the last 2 weeks. It's up there. Highlighted a few. Volk said, what's harder to achieve? End world hunger or make Prof like BCG? The answer is quite easy, I think, on that one.
It'd be a much weirder question if it said BBC. And, you know, I don't know. It'd be tough.
Honestly, the British Broadcasting Channel has some good qualities about it.
OJ Borge is on it.
Yeah. They do the television, they do the radio, they do a lot of things.
They got it all.
The acronym does also stand for something else.
I wouldn't know. Patrick, spelt in a very Polish way, said, honestly, Chad's attempt at pronouncing WUJ was surprisingly good, especially for an English speaker. There's actually a lot of discussion about,
especially for an English speaker.
A lot of discussion about this was in the comments. They're actually really happy about your efforts, and I think you did a great job. But they also highlighted that everyone's pronouncing Krakow wrong. It's Krakow. It's an U. So it's kind of funny. If we want to pronounce this properly, then we should actually do that. Well,
we tried with Krakow. We were all going with Krakow because, and then the thing that came out of that was we're cracking on in Krakow.
Yeah, that kind of works.
That's kind of where we went.
But yeah, some nice comments are there. Moving on to the rest. Top comments on the YouTubes. There's a bunch of good ones there. Tweaker Lifestyle, obviously commenting on the Hallie Sotvik situation, saying Hallie better get comfortable co-streaming with Chopper. I think that's kind of a banger line. Not gonna lie. Obviously, Magic's got his first trophy as IGL, so that was also kind of getting glazed there. Akala CS, are you ready for IGL lessons? Apex gulps. Jame breathes heavily. Kerrigan nods nervously. Blitz sighs. Yes, Magics, they say in unison. A little fan fiction.
It's creative. It is creative. Look,
it's a good one.
Just to think of where people's heads are at when they're writing these things. So I have to take myself there. But okay, all right, nice.
Yeah, and then one more, a Moto Bridger 1314, ACAB, but perhaps interesting. Really glad that we get any tournaments in Asia, considering how limited the scene is. I would love to see an S tier tournament in Ulaanbaatar. I feel like there's no better place in Asia for that. I've been on this train for a while. We don't know what's happening next year. Is it going to be Astana? It's not really announced. Maybe PGL just go, a bit more east, still in the steppe.
I see what you're saying.
And go to Ulaanbaatar. Why not? I'd be 100% down for that. I think it would be a banger event. Okay. And ultimately, the winner.
The winner is
Ethan Trexie. No one beats Navi 17 times in a row. Classic.
Again, it's. I will say it's low effort from Ethan here, but it's on point. And that's really what this is about. You want to get in the hearts, the minds, the emotions of the people, and Ethan's been able to achieve that. With a spot on point in the Navi versus Vitality head-to-head. So shout out to Ethan. That's fantasy@hltv.org. Ethan is what you want to use. Send an email and we'll get you your Vitality jersey.
Yeah, I've heard also the pipeline of the jerseys has been unclogged, maybe because they now have new jerseys. I don't know how that works, but apparently it'll be coming out fast, hard, and thick towards our winners.
Just like what airs on the BBC. Okay, let's keep rolling, shall we? So we're going to jump into the IEM Beijing announcement. This happened, it's probably not on people's radars. People probably don't care too much unless you're in China, but it's going to be happening later in the year. The last couple of years, ESL have run IEM Chengdu. They announced that they're going to be running IEM Beijing in place of that. And from my understanding, it's for a couple of reasons.
I think it's a country. It's a city in China, Beijing. That's my understanding.
It's a big city. Last time we were there was Haidan, and Haidan felt a bit antiquated, but also pre-pandemic. So a lot has changed in China since then. But the keys with this one is from what I understand, bigger capacity, crowd for all 6 days of play, which is great. That's the 3 group stage days, the 3 playoff days, and 360 stage. So
Yes.
obviously, because we know we can get crowds in China, people are turning out in hordes, right? Being able to get a bigger capacity, you can do a 360. They did it in Shanghai for the major, and have a crowd the whole time. It's cool. It's good. I like the fact that you're playing to the availability of the audience in said area. Don't know if there's too many comments on this. Striker, you look like a man who had something to say.
No, just good stuff all around, really.
Okay, that was an easy news topic. Well, we're done with that one. That's great. The more of these we can have that we can fly through, the more time we get to spend on the PowerPoint. This next one, we're going to throw over to Striker here like a holy hand grenade. So for those people who missed it, obviously the viewer pass is in the game. With the pick'ems are in the game, you can do pick'ems for stage 1 and stage 2 at the moment because there's no day off between stage 1 and stage 2. You can preempt it in case you won't get a chance to get on the PC in that time. But the thing is, there's a new model of how the stickers are purchased. It's no longer capsules and at random. You have the slot machine wheel and you get whoever you get. Now you pick which player's sticker you want and you buy it directly, which for some players it could be extremely high, right? Because this is a marketplace that is valued by demand. So that's caused some interesting conversations over the last couple of days. But the biggest part of this, Striker, was something you pointed out in our WhatsApp group the other day regarding the split of the money coming in for the major with the players and the teams. So do you want to take that away? And what I will say before you get going is when you say something that needs more explanation, or I think that people are going to be interested in hearing more of, I'm going to jump in. Okay. I'm going to say that now, just to get ahead of the Sponge is always interrupting people questions. I'm getting to the bottom of things, people. I'm asking the hard-hitting questions. Said Sponge never. All right, Striker, take it away. What's the big news on this?
All right, so for people who are not necessarily too familiar with how the sticker split used to work in the past and how Valve looked at what teams are and what players are, it used to work in a way where teams would get, let's say, the majority of the team sticker plus the viewer pass, the souvenir sales, and then players would get the majority of the player sticker, right? And then on top of that, teams and players had some deals for players to get a part of the team sticker as well on the side, right? But I'm talking about what Valve actually, give directly to the two parties, depending on what they look like, right? So that's how it worked in the past. This time, from Cologne, they just lump it all in one figure. It doesn't matter whether it's coming from team stickers, from viewer pass, or from the autographs. They just lump it all in one sum and then just split it 50-50 between the players and teams, depending on, obviously there's more changes to that because it depends on placing now instead of like capsules and all that stuff. But let's say within a team, the 5 players and the team will get the exact same amount because it's just split evenly between the two, right? Which, it's caused some ripples through between the teams and between the teams and players, because obviously these deals and contracts still exist for players to get a part of the team, like the team revenue as well, right? And so now there's a lot of issues. Let's say there's going to be a lot of renegotiation. There's going to be some conflicts between players and organizations about how much are the players actually now able to demand out of the teams, now that they are getting more money,
Let's stop at this point for a second. So you're talking about you're talking about here with this split causing issues behind the scenes, but the reason this is causing issues is because players stand to take more of a percentage. Whether or not that's more money because of the new system, we have no idea. Right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. More about the split rather than the money. Obviously, there's also a lot of conversation about whether the lack of the gambling factor is actually going to affect sales. I can say so far we're hearing that it is, and that it is a negative trend for the moment. Obviously, it's only been like 10 days and we don't know how it's going to work with like the discount like later on and all that stuff. So we will see by the end of all this, how it's actually been affected. But yeah, effectively, I actually have like a pretty nice... we will also have like come out around this. I think Messi also came on for that.
Okay,
so
nice.
there's going to be like a big, there's going to be a big rundown of this, and that's going to be a little bit more in depth. But at least I can show kind of like my let's say estimation of what it would have looked like before and what it will look like now under the old and new system, right? And what the difference in the money between teams and players would look like. So I'll just upload it to like an imager or something. Give me one sec.
Could you share your screen?
Probably not a good idea right now.
Either is fine.
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'll get it. I'll get there.
I just wanted to mention, I mean, while we're waiting, I don't know if Lucas can bring it up or not, but Vinny made this tweet like, it was just 7 days ago when this came out, translated from Portuguese. With this update, the Brazilian orgs that weren't distributing the sticker with the players are going to lose straight to the source with Valve. They got fucked hard. And he actually boosted this post on Twitter for some reason. Someone asked him, why'd you do this? He said, to see if it works. But some orgs, I think back in the day, G2 did this. I think new contracts, for what I know, is not like this, but G2 used to take like all of the sticker money, like completely. But that's why they had
wasn't it so that,
higher base salaries, right? And in this case, there could be some orgs that just have that kind of a agreement where they have like higher salaries, but they take all the sticker money, which in this case would be, you know, you could maybe go and renegotiate how it works and ask them to pay you back and all of these things. But
sure,
from a contract perspective, it's going to get messy, as you said, for a lot of people, because they had one expectation going into it and it works kind of differently now.
Yeah, I mean, I also heard that there are some organizations that actually took some of the autograph money back. You know, even though like it obviously went directly to the players, like their contracts actually demanded it back. This is maybe going to be a little bit hard to understand from the get-go, but I'll do my best to explain this. So this is kind of like an estimation of what it would have looked like if a team and players have a deal that team retains 70% of the team side and they give away 30% of the team side, right, to the players, let's say, which is somewhere around average. Some teams obviously have less, as Vinny said. Some teams aren't even sharing any of the team sticker with the players. Some teams I heard as high as 50% from like some of the organization. Generally, it's more in the lower end. I think more like 20% is probably around standard. But like I just did like a 30-70 split just for the sake of kind of like a rough estimation of what it would look like. So under the old system, you can kind of see this is based on Budapest numbers, right? So we actually went through some of the sources that I had and got all the numbers for like the Budapest stickers. Like in the past, you can kind of see how it would have worked out, because Legends players were really well off because their stickers were sold like a crazy amount. It was really, really high.
They're all the popular teams, right? With all the popular players.
It was something like 150,000 per player for the Legend sticker for Budapest, right?
Okay.
While for like the Challenger players and for the Contender players, it was like less than 10 or something like that. I don't know, like a crazy
less than 10 grand.
Less than like a crazy difference between the two for sure. It was like 6 and 8K or something like that. Somewhere along that line.
Okay.
So you can kind of see, so like the old system is how it would have worked in the past, where, you know, let's say players get all of the player signatures and teams get all of the team signatures, and then teams give away 30% of the team stickers, and then teams give away 30% of the stickers. And then that works out to most of the teams, like the Challenger and Contender teams, doing quite better off than the players, right? Except for the Legends, where the player sticker was so high that, you know, obviously they got a lot more money than the rest. Now, if you look at how the new system would work out, let's say, you know, they split it half and half from Valve, and then teams have to also give away a part of their half to the players based on the contracts that they have now. You can see how much it skews the other direction, right? Legends stay more or less the same because teams also get the benefit of, you know, the Legends stickers selling a lot better, obviously, compared to you know, the rest. But everything else, the players work out way better than they did before, and obviously a lot better than the teams, right? You can see like they earn even twice as much for the Challenger and the Contender side if, you know, the deal stayed the same, where players also have a demand of 30% of the actual team side, right? So that's where all these kind of issues between teams and organizations are not, or players and organizations are now kind of starting up, because obviously teams are stand to lose quite a lot compared to the past, right? Let's say, you know, assuming the sales are more or less the same. And so I think a lot of them will probably work towards a solution where there will just be no deals, or, you know, obviously there might be some specific organizations that will have some deals where they just keep it to the 50-50 split. And that's what the third column is, you know, they just split it half and half directly from Valve, if there were no
with
additional
nothing else
deals
going on. Yeah, okay. I think that there's the other interesting point to note here is because obviously you're doing projections based off of old numbers. We don't know how much we're going to get with the new numbers because of the way that things have changed with the sticker capsules, right? It not being capsules anymore and buying directly. And now that split is among all 32 teams. Well, it's among everybody now, right? It's Valve, the TO, the teams themselves, and the players are all now. It's just one pool of money. Whereas before those pools were separated, we're not going to have that anymore, right? So that creates a whole new different set of numbers. Like we don't know how badly these figures are going to be tanked. We know that when the biggest comparison was like the Paris Major, right? That's when things were fucking gangbusters and people are talking about stupid money from the stickers. Since then, it hasn't been anywhere near as prosperous. But I think it's cool if you're saying that we are going to get a Messioso like come here episode. That's great. That'll be a good place. People want to really get into the nitty and gritty.
There's also going to be a lot of stuff around like historically what the majors have paid out and all that stuff. Like there's a lot of research that I put into it over the last few years as the majors came in, and that we got from various sources. So there's going to be a lot of information on how it was historically, what it's going to be like. Obviously, Messioso is going to present the team side of how it's affecting them and all that stuff. It should be a good one to listen to for sure if you're interested.
Well, that's
I think
exciting.
Just to add like my 2 cents on this, not necessarily about like how it's going to work, but just like the implications of this. It has to suck to go into a major with this happening in the background. I just hope like for most teams and players that they can either figure it out fast or just do it after the major instead of like we read the Gamer Legion story and what happened there with the like, you're going into the major grand final and arguing about how much you're earning from stickers and all this bullshit. Like you kind of want that to be separated. Maybe your agent is dealing with that and you can just focus on playing because it's not a good environment to be in. And also uncertainty just breeds fear, right? And if it's uncertain, people just project it to be less, which is probably what it is going to be on average because people love a good roll of the dice versus
people like surprises, Prof.
Yeah, because people are like, now as I was sticker cost whatever $700 and it could cost 40 cents before, right? You never know what you're going to get. So people are obviously more likely, just based on everything we know about society, to go for that random percentage, even if it's probably not the best odds. So interesting times ahead. Definitely going to be some interesting conversations throughout the major behind the scenes, just talking to people from orgs and players and agents. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and that's look. So Tamer in chat just said players are paid from stickers same amount, or it depends on their sticker sale. Everything, as far as I understand, gets pulled into one lump sum, right? From the viewer pass, any sticker sales, everything is pulled into one. But based off of your qualification, so where you were invited on the VRS, and then once the major ends, based off of your placement, will depend on the percentage of money that your team gets. So there is an incentive-based part, which I like that part because we've had conversations about that before. But
I think it just puts the focus on where it belongs, right, on the competition. Because in the past, we had teams just be happy with making the major because they got the stickers, right, and that was enough to give them like a decent chunk of change. It's obviously still going to be enough to give them a decent chunk of change now, but there's obviously effectively stickers are now par prize money rather than I don't know what you want to call it, like.
Participation fee.
Let's say like a participation fee type thing, right? Depending on how you qualified, So that's a cool part of it. I agree. Yeah.
Okay. So this, like you guys said, there's more to come out of this. We won't spend too long on it, but we've hit the headline topics of it. And Prof's point, with the competition, hopefully it doesn't cause too much of a disruption in the back end. So
it will for some teams for sure.
100%.
It for sure will. But you're just hoping it doesn't affect your favorite.
Most of the teams
team.
Realistically will be having those conversations now about how are these contracts framed, because a lot of them are just based on that the framing there is going to be whatever team sales, player sales, and all these things. I think teams will, like everyone, will still have access to that information, but how the contracts are framed is going to matter a lot, and that's just going to cause a lot of fighting behind the scenes, I think.
You guys haven't talked about they don't do the souvenir weapons anymore as well. You have to
they do
bring your own gun.
Yeah, which the guns that you were getting before weren't the coolest weapons. So now you can just, but also this is a part, this conversation, like we could do a 2-hour episode right now just talking about the financial structure of how Valve moving away from crates, right? How they're moving more into this armory. Like we could do that, but we have more pressing things to talk about than that, which might seem crazy because the Counter-Strike ecosystem is, you know, based on what Valve does, but we're not doing that today. Skins from being an investment is something that is a risky move, if you ask me. So yeah, the souvenir system is different, but again, like I will see what happens with the fallout of this after. Right, less about the renegotiating contracts, more about the total amount of money being made overall and spent by the community. Because if it isn't successful and Valve don't feel like making enough profit, they will come up with another model. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we can get into
well, they haven't for a while, and obviously the stickers were kind of up and down lately. They've kind of decreased already, so I don't know if they're going to come up with something different, because this is also partly a reaction to what you were talking about with the crates, right?
Yeah. And the court cases and stuff that are going on, and how we know it's banned in already a bunch of countries, or there's the X-ray
workarounds. Yeah,
exactly. All right. Anyway, this is that. It's not that I'm dismissing this conversation, guys. It's just that I spent so much time coming up with a PowerPoint that I want to give enough time to go through.
We need to
it,
get the
right?
PowerPoint as
I've been
soon
doing
as possible.
stats
Guys,
and
you won't
everything.
believe.
Also, we should really focus on what's actually going to happen at the major, right? So this is more about contextualizing it.
This is the side cart. What's going on this side? Okay, so this has been a big one this week as well. Valve pushed an update that made it so when we were spectating in CSTV that we were getting full flashed, which made it quite hard because the flash was over everything. It was over the HUD. It was as if you're in game, right? You couldn't see the kill feed. You couldn't see, if a player was still alive or whatnot, which made following the action pretty tough. And if you're an observer and you went from one player who was blind and you try to get out of that situation to go to another player and then that player was flashed, you just kind of caught on white screens. So it created what I think is a good thing, especially for viewers who don't play CS, to see, oh my God, that's what a fucking flash looks like holy shit. But it also created the problem from the viewership perspective. Imagine we're in the arena and there's 15,000 people at IEM Cologne and we're in like a banger semi-final and there's just like a B execute and all we have is just white screen. 15,000 people in an arena and all at home are just, all they see is a white screen and someone gets a fucking mow down multi-kill. And what can you do? HLAE, they put an update out on there. For people who don't know HLAE, it's like a
Half-Life After Effects, no?
Yeah, that's it. So basically, it's what some of these TOs use for certain observing elements. All
the campass and stuff is not like, you have some basic elements in CS that you can use, like the LERP and stuff like that. But if you want to do anything kind of cool, you have to do it through that.
So this is a thing that is used a lot by productions and observers, and they had pushed an update so that you could control the opacity of the flash. So there was going to be a solution, but I was trying to get Striker to fucking message Valve. I was messaging Valve on Twitter. I know people from ESL were messaging Valve. There were Reddit threads about it. I think trying to get their attention to say, hey, listen, can we get this fucking fixed, or at least make it a toggle? They made it a convar so we can at least adjust that. So that's good. We won't have to worry about the full flash effect for the major, which is great. So thank you to everybody for kicking up a fuss about it, because that would have, I don't even want to get into the why. I think it's good to have it as an option. It's good to either have it on for replays or to have it off.
Wasn't it just a side effect? Like
what was the side effect of? They made a full, wasn't it a full update?
Wasn't it because of people, when you spectated your teammates and they got flashed, the guy spectating the teammate was getting less flash than the actual player. So the teammate spectating could see info. So they just made it fully blind, and then they didn't like differentiate if it was a spectator or it was a dead player. So it was just a bug.
I mean, there's a I don't know about a bug. It's more about just maybe they didn't realize that it was going to affect this as well. But you can even tell from today's update notes that it says something about remote spectators, right? Which probably means in the actual spectator slot rather than in a team.
This makes sense. This makes sense. But at the same time, kind of what you're saying, Chad, it is actually cool to see it sometimes. So it's nice that it exists as a convar, right? So you can use it for a replay or whatever. You can be like, okay, that was actually like he actually did not see anything. He got 3 kills. Like you can actually see the proper POV of a player sometimes and get that just the feedback of how it is to be in these executes as the the bomb site holder. As we can try to explain how difficult it is, but when you have that like semi-visible and it's like fading out, you don't really know how much it faded out on the actual player side. And honestly, as someone that plays CS, I still don't understand how they get these kills when it's like half faded. Like I don't see shit when this is going on, but I see players adjusting the crosshair and getting kills, which I would not be able to get. Like not be able to get. Like I don't see at all what they're seeing. So it might be maybe they have better monitor settings. I don't know, but it's great.
DX level.
Good job. And people that play professional are better at this game than me. Conclusion. Thank you.
But I
breaking
think
news.
It hits on a point though, right? Like we were just doing Atlanta, and then we've got makeup artists in the green room the whole time, and they're learning more about the game as the week goes on. And by the end of it, one of them plucks up the courage and they go, so just because we've been watching, how they can see the outline of the players through the walls, and we're like, they can't see that, right? Like so
that's a classic.
it's the same thing with the flashes. If you're a viewer and you don't play, you don't really know how strong a flash is and how much of an effect it has. It makes flashes seem like the way that we just spectate the game makes it seem flashes aren't super useful. But if we're able to have some replays where you can toggle on flashes to see how blind players are in certain spots, I think that'd be really good. So hopefully we can strike a balance, but it's good. So is it possible for producers now to show, okay, there's so many weird, I know that people don't have the glance behind the screen and to understand. So I'll take that question on face value. Essentially, what would have to happen there to make that possible is you would need to have another PC set up that is capturing replay footage with the flash on. That would be one solution, right?
Or
and
then
you
would
would
toggle on the replay between the two,
which is hard.
But also, I don't know how everyone does.
It's not that hard. They already do that.
No, but it's more just you're asking, like, essentially to answer this guy's question, we're saying it's not that hard, but it is adding a whole nother feed because then that feed needs to go and needs to be recorded by EVS. There's a lot of things that go into it. So I wouldn't just say, it's simple. Yeah, now we can definitely have it and they can show it. It is possible.
But it all depends on like how you have their stuff set up. Like how many replay machines, how many are you capturing just the live and like a fancy what's it called?
Context
cinematic
feed,
context,
cinematic feed,
or do you have like replays for every situation, every person live, plus then an extra version where he's flashed or not flashed? Like there's a lot. It can scale up quite a lot in costs very quickly, I guess.
There's a lot going on to it. Okay.
Just made me like had a brief thought that it's interesting. Nobody's ever tried to do like a, when there's an execute happening, that we haven't really seen anybody like show all perspectives of the defending players to see who's flashed, like when they have to turn off and turn away and things like that. It would be kind of cool to have like a split screen of 3 players and see like how an execute happens, and like how hard it is to defend a bomb site, when a proper execute happens with like all the right pop flashes. This
would be good in like we can build some stuff out for that, because in demos, I know Naya here was saying that the flashes were fucking him over, and if we can just I know there's a guy who does clips, and we can maybe come up with some of that stuff you're talking about. But I think it'll show the viewer just how tough some of these scenarios can be, which is cool. All right, everyone happy with where we're at?
Yeah.
There any other recent news that I missed?
Yes and no. I don't think so. It doesn't really matter.
We're going to talk about CAC in this segment.
Yeah, there's like something I talked about last week was the XSE Pro League. The tournament in China that's happening somewhere during what would originally have been the break, something like a week after the major. People can see what I was talking about already, but I think like the biggest names are still to be announced. There's already like Legacy there. There's FaZe there. There's NIP there. 9Z is there. 3D Max. Legacy, Bedboom, 9Z, Alliance, 3D Max, Eyeballers, NIP, Nemesis, and FaZe. And I think they're probably going to announce another name today because they've been doing like 2 a day or something.
Well, these are the ones I got told by my source in that part of the world. Okay. This message came in on the 21st. Yep. This would have been last time we spoke about it on this show, I think. And then I got the message afterwards. MOUZ, FaZe, Legacy, 3D Max, 9Z, Monty, Big, PARIVISION, BetBoom, Alliance, Eyeballers, M80, Bait, Nemesis, NIP, MIBR.
I will neither confirm or deny.
Okay, well that's the
but
list.
He
that-
did
that
say it's
would
an
be an
MVP
level.
event.
But that would be an MVP level event, yes.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. 2 and 2 together.
That's that right there, everybody. That's the list I received from my Chinese source.
Yeah, so
There you
MOUZ,
go.
PARIVISION, FaZe would be, and Legacy would be like the biggest names, and then the rest is, you know, stage 2, 3, stage 1 and 2 teams, kind of.
I've got sources too, guys. It's not just Striker, okay?
So
I've got
Sometimes-
real
sometimes
they're
people
wrong.
in China.
Sometimes they're bad, and sometimes you shouldn't have shared what they said, but you do it anyway.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
And we still love you.
Here's the rule. If you send me a message on WhatsApp out of the blue with some information, and you don't really contextualize it by saying, "Don't tell anybody this information," I'm going to assume you told me for a reason, and the reason is probably because I go on some podcasts about Counter-Strike every week and I talk about things. So unless you're going to say, "Don't say this publicly," I'm going to say it publicly, and I feel that's a fair rule. Like
It is a fair rule.
it seems like a fair rule. So that also means if you are like a player and you want to get something out there, you know, a narrative, you could come to me and you could tell me the information, and I can go out and go, "Well, someone told me this."
And we
we
have
can-
to plow through the bullshit because it's coming from one guy who has an agenda and all that stuff.
Oh, well, we'll find out. Okay, cool, great. Let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this whole situation, everybody. 2026 season 1 is coming to its conclusion in about 3 and a bit weeks time on the 22nd of June. And then we go into the tournament break, which is dead. So we don't really go into the tournament break. We go into the time after the major. That's what we'll have. We'll come up with a better name. There will be a better name.
Beach time.
Yeah, there'll be
It's
a bit
only
of that
beach
for
time
sure.
for like 5 teams at this point, you know.
But the major is right around the corner. It starts on Tuesday. But I thought this would be a nice time to recap the season and kind of go through some of the bigger things that happened throughout 2026 so far. Just give us a little bit to percolate on, like how much has actually happened in this time, and then discuss through the season, and then we can get into the major conversation stuff. Okay, Lucas, I'm going to share my screen. Is that cool?
Of
That'd
course.
be cool. Just checking. Here we go. Share. Okay. So I didn't do like an intro slide or anything. Let's go slideshow, I guess. That should be fine. Okay. Can everybody let me know when everyone can see this?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you guys can. I should be able to see it on my preview out of the corner of my eye. But we'll get there in a moment. So as soon as Lucas gets this up on the screen, which I'm sure he's reframing the thing. Oh, he's not. Okay, cool. All right, let's get into it. So 2026, a bit of a recap. So I thought let's start with the game itself and some of the major updates that happened across the course of the year. So we had the, obviously, map change to kick off 2026. We had Train going out and Anubis coming in. And we then had the reload update, which was the guns, guides, and games update. That was back in the late stages of March. And then when we made it into April, early April, we had the Animgraph 2 update, right? And all of these are probably, in my opinion, gentlemen, the 3 most notable game updates that have had impact on professional Counter-Strike throughout the season. So, Prof, is there anything here that leaves off the pages, the one that's had the biggest dent, or there's I think the reload thing probably had the biggest conversation, but it's probably had the least impact.
Changed nothing, right?
Yeah.
I guess the Animgraph changed some things, but actually, from like an outside point of view, doesn't seem like we can have any
Hard to
big
measure.
conclusion. Yeah, I guess like the AWPing maybe is a bit better across the board, but I think it's still kind of too early to judge if that's like Animgraph 2 result or, you know, individual moments of, wonderful popping off or whatever, like Hypex having a good tournament. Is that an Animgraph 2 result or not? Because we also saw some oppers sucking, so it's not like it's been an overall, like, I don't know, maybe it is. I didn't see anyone make any research on this to prove without a reasonable, without a doubt that it improved anything specifically. But I think overall people think it's better, so that's good overall. But nothing really changed for competitive CS. I don't think anything changed.
I like running around in terms of like playing the game, and some of the stair movements or other things like that with it are nice, and they've obviously still been tweaking things. It's a pretty big overhaul. For me, the game generally feels more responsive and definitely crisper, but I think the thing is when you're not playing the old version, comparing it to the new version, every time you jump in, you kind of forget what's changed. But for me, my opinion, the game definitely feels smoother because of Anamgraph, and smoother and more responsive because of Anamgraph, or maybe not because of Anamgraph, maybe just because that's where we are. But yeah, I think like the Anubis one, when I look at it, is probably the biggest change because of how it's hurt a couple of teams in the veto, right? Like I'm going a competitive angle here.
Yeah.
But like obviously MOUZ is one who got hit heavily by Anubis coming back in and losing Train, for example. And
Fury, I guess, to some degree.
Yeah. There's, but it's not like, here's the thing. It's not like Anubis has come in and it has added anything significant. It's more about what it's taken away. Striker, do you have anything on these updates before I flick to the next slide, which is more map related?
No, not particularly. You guys covered it.
Okay. So if I flick on over here, this was going to be my point off of the map. So this is interesting in the sense that look how much Dust 2 and Mirage are played compared to the rest of the field, almost 100 times more than the next closest being Ancient. You've got Dust 2 at 217, Mirage at 214, then you've got Ancient at 137. Now, what I did here is this is from all
big events, MVP events. What is this?
This is all of the notable events. Let me get the list. I can get the link for everybody.
I guess it's going to be MVP events then, more or less.
I think so. I did just
you did the manual list
together.
All good.
I did do it manually. Yeah, let me just see if I can find which document I put it in.
It's probably going to be the list that you show later, right? So you can just wait for a bit.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. It is that list of events that I have, but it's only the notable events that the big teams have been out throughout this year. So yeah, and Anubis being the least played at 51. And the next, and Anubis Pass being the next closest, it's almost double the amount. So yeah, this is what I mean about Anubis. It hasn't really added anything. The map is rarely played. Like you see it less than 10 times at every event. I was thinking, okay, there's no way they add Anubis back in and then they remove it in the next break and put in Cash, right? They remove something that's been around a little bit longer. But with just the sheer lack of play and professional play, I could make a case for it, but that doesn't line up with my experiences when I play matchmaking, like Comp, Premier, or Face It. It's a much more
played map.
Not even I don't mean well played. It's a much more played map in other realms of Counter-Strike as opposed to professional CS. The pros don't fuck with it, but the casuals do.
But why don't the pros fuck with it? I kind of don't get it, to be honest.
I don't know. In the beginning, like when they were talking about the push pull and stuff, they still need to make more moves as a CT, but now you have like the harass out the hole and teams have a better grasp on these aggressive moves and stuff. So I don't know what the new gripe would be. If I had to talk to the teams, I don't know what their new gripe with the map would be, but they clearly aren't playing it.
You know what's interesting though? Like it's definitely skewed in terms of CT side, T side with the window update, whatever you would call it, because it's only 53%, which is I think it used to be like 56, 7 something, so like quite more heavily T sided than it was before. So that's interesting. Because that was the biggest gripe with it, right? Like just CT's not really having enough room to work with, right? Or not enough space for aggression and all these things.
Honestly, having done like Bucharest and Astana and like focusing a lot more like on the map vetoes and the map pools of teams, I just think no one. Okay, I want to say no one has balls to pick maps, but also I think no one has map pools past like 4 maps. No one has more than 4 maps that they're decent at, and that's why no one is practicing Anubis, because most people don't play Anubis, so they'll just ban it. But most of the times you see these situations when someone has like a map that they're obviously bad at, and then the other team seems like they're kind of decent, but they're the underdog. They're not picking it. Everyone's just picking their own maps, and then they're like 50-50ing for the last one every fucking time. It almost never happens that you go into a veto and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like it happens, when you have a Navi versus Vitality or these like top teams that actually have 6 maps that they're good at. Other than that, it's just always a fucking obvious picks. And I think that's just the result is like no one has time to practice, so they didn't practice it before and they don't want to put in time when
don't want to risk it
when it's most of the time it's going to be banned out anyway. And that's it. It's kind of sad to see, because I don't think it's about the map. I just think it's about how the season works and teams and all of these things.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I was like covering 2 tournaments as analyst, and I don't think I covered a single Anubis game.
Yeah, I cast Anubis so infrequently as well. It's a map I really like playing.
It's literally just Aurora. That's it. That's it. That's a team that
Boom, we're picking it in Atlanta a bit. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like, so 217 Dust 2, 214 Mirage, 137 Ancient, 135 Inferno, 130 Nuke, 99 Overpass, and 51 Anubis. So it'll be cool. It's cool we have these numbers now, and we can compare to the map pool that gets played at the major over the 3 weeks, right? We get to see kind of like what teams are, like, does this change? Do we get an uptick in Anubis? Do we get an uptick in Overpass? Is there going to be less Dust 2 or Mirage? Like, and it, you know, I don't even mind those maps, right? Because they get brawly. Like, if you Dust 2 Mirage, you're Ancient. This is why I'm surprised Anubis isn't in there. Anubis gets brawly too, but maybe at the top level it's more save heavy, just because, you know, it's the better choice.
Aurora played it 11 times this year.
Okay, so Aurora make up 11 of these 51 games.
Of the,
That's crazy.
I don't know if all of these are 11 are from this, you know, these tournaments, but would be close for sure.
If they played Draculan, then no.
That could be,
not in here.
Yeah, but
the most CT sided here in the field would be Nuke. Then surprisingly Mirage, which is I think curious. Mirage is at 56%. Then Overpass at 53%. And then you're looking at your 51.9, your 51.7, and your 51.4s, which is your Inferno, your Ancients, and your Dust 2s. And then the most T-sided is Anubis at 53%, or 46.9% CT side. I did the rest of them by CT side. So what I did was I actually compared this to a bunch of events of similar fashion from season 2 of 2025. So I wanted to see, is this crazy with the amount of maps that have been played from season 1 2026 compared to the last season in 2025? Now, obviously the map pool was different. We had Train and we have Anubis. So a different amount of tournaments. So don't look at the total amount of maps. It's more about the percentages, but either way, Anubis 51 times. This is including the major, right? This season 2 2026 events. But they had 82 Trains compared to 51 Anubises. And then everything else is just much more of an even field. Like,
wouldn't be Anubis to Overpass would be the comparison, right?
Yeah.
Overpass was added last.
Yes.
So
you're
78
right.
to 51.
Yep. Which I guess that is much closer. But still, it's interesting that the rest of the map pool isn't so top heavy. Like this season, we've had 22% and 21%, or let's just say both, 22% of Dust 2 and Mirage of the entire of the maps.
I mean, yeah, 40% of all maps is Dust 2 and Mirage.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, whereas like last time round, we're talking about everything being much closer besides the outliers of Overpass and Train, but everything else was much closer, right? Everything is 18% or less. And, you know, the bottom there being the 14% mark. So it's interesting. I just thought this was curious to see how it's developing from season to season. There's not too much to really get into here. Any takeaways?
No.
Just thought fun little, I just wanted to do
just saying Mirage not going to be removed from the map pool. Just look at those numbers. It's not going anywhere.
They want to get rid of Mirage. Okay. This is, I'm going to have to.
We're going to play this?
Yeah, we are going to do this. So these are some of the roster moves that happened mid-season. So this isn't anything that happened going into the season. So things that we knew that were happening from 2025 or even early 2026. These are things that happened once the season already started. So I've listed off a bunch of them here, and I'll read them out for our audio-only listeners. We got Sizzy Debate, Art to Legacy. We've got Try to Passion UA. We've got Senzu to Passion UA, also BC game, but I didn't bother putting him in twice here. We've got Masuda to 3D Max. We've got Grim to NRG. We have MOUZ to Liquid. We have Nerds to G2, Stown Orping at NIP, the whole MOUZ situation, Carrigan to FaZe, and Safe to Pain. So what we're going to do is here in the left hand corner, I have 4 awards to give away. First, second, and third in terms of what we decided the best roster mid-season roster moves, and then an honorable mention. If we believe someone deserves an
honestly,
honorable
this is
mention.
fucking hard.
Man.
This is fucking hard.
Difficult.
So
for me, number 1 would probably be Nerds to G2.
Really?
Okay. What else? It's either Nerds to G2 or Kerrigan to FaZe.
Yeah.
These are the 2 options.
I would probably do Kerrigan first at this point.
I would agree.
Okay, let's do that then.
I know the community won't, but it's our opinion, not theirs. So should we put it here next to it?
Yeah.
There
you go. Okay, so Kerrigan takes home gold. Now, I'm going to throw what I think is number 2.
Okay.
It's Art to Legacy.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. I kind of glossed over that one. It's much better than I expected.
Well, mate, they just won a tournament. So, you know, and the whole season hasn't looked that way, but they did just win a tournament.
Yeah.
And that's something that Falcons haven't done. And we just gave #1 prize to fucking Falcons and Carrigan. Who would be third here for you guys? I'd love to hear some thoughts. You were strong on Nerds, Prof.
I think it's decent. I think it's decent. I don't think they've done much, but I think it's a good long-term move. I think for both look better. G2 look kind of slightly better. Nerds looks much better individually, so I like that. And then honorable mention would be Stown to NIP. These are my. Everything else kind of sucks. Not gonna lie. I mean, JL to MOUZ is cool, but it's not even permanent, so I can't really do much of that. And Zelix,
and also he hasn't shown that much, to be honest. Like he's been fine. He's definitely been serviceable and everything, but is it like a massive upgrade over Jimmy? Just so far not. Doesn't really
Zelix kind of similar, right? Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, and he's young. So
we're missing the Xerxen to IGL move. Maybe we should have had that
kind
included.
in like, you know.
What do you think? Do you have anything?
On how we frame it. So from the rest of this, for the third place or the honorable mention, I have 3 moves that I am thinking between. One is Sizzy to bait, because I think he can be a good AWPer for the future. And in the beginning, he was flashy. Then he simmered off and was like, why did they even bother with this guy? Why didn't they just keep Headtrick or that Segikawa kid? And now it's back on like, okay, Sizzy is good, right? I think people are back on the, okay, Sizzy can shoot train, or at least I am. So
I didn't really, his best tournament was Atlanta, right? No.
Yeah, I've cast a few of his games, and I think he's definitely very flashy and he can take over games. But also playing in bait, I don't know how much people expect to be able to get out of the kid in that team too. And he's only 16. Then the other one for me would be Masuda to 3D Max. Now, it's not about 3D Max's success because they don't have any, but Masuda has been a strong firepower.
Right.
Yeah. The thing is whether it should have been body going or not. Maybe for personal reasons it should have been body. But if you had body and Masuda and Lucky, you know, maybe we're cooking. But I think Masuda's been a good firepower upgrade. And then I would agree with you on the Nerds one. Then I would go Nerds to G2. And just because it's nice to see him smile again.
Yeah. What do you think? Striker make the
final call?
I would do Nerds third, I guess.
Okay. Who do you want to give the honorable mention to?
So that was I'm still not sold on Sizzy because I watched him a bit in CEC and he was back to like being super up and down, like very, very, very volatile. So I'm not really sure about him.
It's down 1.16 rating in NIP.
And he is doing a new role. He is doing a new role at Orping.
Okay, let's give him the honorable mention then.
Look, it's because he came as a guest on the show.
Else is the problem, yeah.
Come as a guest on the show, guys, and we'll give you a made-up award on a PowerPoint presentation. It's a good reason to come. Okay. So that's our mid-season roster moves. It's weird, like the Senzu one, he got himself like into mildly lukewarm water, and now he's like in a frying pan, like with his skin boiling up.
His individual form has been fine, but like his teams are
just buried.
Awful. So I don't think that can be a good roster move for him.
Maybe if
all.
Mongols have a bad major, he goes back.
Honestly, I'm hoping for that.
Not
I
even
think that would be
Cobra. He could play someone else. Doesn't matter at this point.
I think that would be the best solution for everyone involved.
Get Senzu. Let's start the petition now, guys. Get Senzu back to the Mongols. Bury the beef. We don't even know if there is beef, but bury the beef and get him back on the Mongols.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to talk more about these teams and stuff later. So if there's anything that stands out here that you guys do want to mention, we can. But we'll have all the teams later at the major. Okay.
Yeah, that's
cool.
good.
Cool. Okay.
You can full screen, I guess.
Yeah, we can go full screen again. I can go slideshow again. So we're still in the recap section, everybody. I haven't. Oh, someone changed it to map trends. Thank you. Okay, bang. Competitive focus. So these are the events that I based those stats for the maps on that you guys saw earlier. There's another slide. So it's not just these, it's these and the next slide. But essentially I was going through and I was keeping tabs on playoff appearances. So it's going to be different per event because every event has a different playoff split, whether it's 8 teams, whether it's 6 teams, whether it's a third place decider or not, right? Those are all factors that play in here into these playoffs. So as you can see on your screen right now, if you are a visual listener, visual watcher and audio listener, you will be able to see Bounty was our first event, then Krakow, then into Cluj, then we went to EPL in Stockholm, then we went to Rotterdam, and then we had Bucharest. Now the last one before the cutoff was Rotterdam. So, you know, these first few, we had a PARIVISION win, a Vitality win, a Vitality win, a Na'Vi win, and another Vitality win. That was how the season started. are there any? Oh, and if you notice here on the PGL Bucharest one, everybody, the teams' names, which in this case is 3D Max and Eyeballers, any team name that you see on these spreadsheets that is white, it means that they made it to a playoffs in the season but didn't make the major. There's only 4 teams over the course of the entire season who made it to the playoffs of one of these events but did not make it to the major.
Yep.
Magic and FaZe are the other 2.
Yep.
Is there anything interesting here on this page, gentlemen?
I mean, foot winning a tournament. Good to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Oh, I have another one coming up in a second.
Yeah,
so
you can go to the next
go
one.
for it.
There it is. There's FaZe, there's Magic, and then obviously Cologne here that will fill out. So the other events that made this up were Rio to Fort Worth to Astana, Atlanta, CAC that we just concluded, and then Cologne Major, right? So yeah, and FaZe and Magic are right there. This is what it looks like from a playoffs podium placement of the season. These are all the names: Vitality, Na'Vi, Spirit, Paravision, Legacy, Foot, Falcons, Astralis, Furia, Aurora, Gamer Legion, MOUZ, Mongols, FaZe, 3D Max, MIBR, BetBoom, Magic, D2, Bait, Pain, Eyeballers, Heroic, Liquid, and 9Z. Those are all the names who made the playoffs of one of those events this year. Obviously, some of those names on the bottom of the list, your Eyeballers and your, yeah, I guess your Magic, they came fucking 4th. They did well. I don't even know why. I shouldn't even bring them into the conversation. So did 3D Max, also came fucking 4th at an event. It's crazy. But 5 trophies for Vitality, 2 for Na'Vi. They're the only multi-trophy winners. Then Spirit, Paravision, Legacy, and Foot. Plenty of runners up. Falcons are great at that. They've came third. They've come second 3 times, third once, a 5th to 6th, and a 5th to 8th. But this is essentially, if I'm a team going into the major, this is my resume for the major. This is what I present at the door and go, well, this is what I've done this year.
MOUZ with 3 bronzes. That's very on brand.
They are great in the 3rd place deciders.
They are very good. They're clearly very good. Last 2, they fucking slapped them both times.
Yeah, they're very good there. So this is just a lot of information that might be interesting to people at home. Probably not very interesting to Prof and Striker because they'll be all over this like a bad rash. But it's just interesting to see the names who have made it to playoffs throughout the year.
It's kind of like pretty much a power ranking in its own way.
Yeah.
When you look at this list,
yeah,
with some changes, but
well, Paravision is definitely not 4th in a power ranking.
Well,
it is funny that Paravision, Legacy, and Foot all won a trophy this season when teams like Falcons didn't, Furia didn't, right? Yeah. Like even Mongols, MOUZ. I'd even put Aurora ahead of like a Legacy or a Foot to be in trophy contention. So it is crazy that Paravision, Legacy, and Foot all did take home trophies. Like that stands out in itself to me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, next slide.
I mean, it's cool. Yeah. Like maybe go back to one slide just for a second.
There we go.
Just it's cool to look at the last 4 events, right, and them all having different winners. That just also sets up the major in a certain light.
Yeah, that does change the narrative, right? Because that is the big thing. Like, how many more teams are in contention, not even to win, just to be competitive or make different stages. So it's kind of made things a little bit more exciting from that standpoint. Okay, so these are the MVPs of all of those events, which starts with a Nico MVP. And now that we're at this point with the discourse around Nico, it's crazy that the season started with the Nico MVP.
That is quite wild.
You know, like
that's quite wild.
How things have changed. Zawu has obviously picked himself up a bunch. Makazi got his. Rops picked up one. Cemetery at Bucharest. Obviously, that one we didn't have the biggest of fields. Donk in Astana, which is nice to see. His wonderful up there. And then Lato in DAC. So obviously, Nico an outlier because of recent form and all the grand final scrutiny that he got from the last one.
I think that also just shows like that's the Nico MVP plus PARIVISION winning the trophy tournament. And it just shows that you can kind of take nothing out of the first tournament of the year. I know we say this all the time.
We always say it.
And it always kind of sounds like we're either downplaying a team result or downplaying the tournament organizer, but it's not about that. It's going to be the same next year. Next year we'll have Bounty and Bucharest at the same time. And both of these tournaments will have, like, we can look at something, we can see something, but you can't really take it at face value. It's like 30%.
Well, but if anything, though, PARIVISION winning it was kind of a hint of or things to come, because they still were competitive for another 3-4 events right after that. It just took a while.
But now they're going out in group stage.
Now, obviously, yes, but they
3
kept up the
tournaments
form
in a row.
At a pretty decent level for a while.
They've taken a bit of a dive. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But this is the thing.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Exactly.
Next.
And we always talk about peaking for the majors, right? So it's great that we've had these other names throw themselves in the ring at this point.
One cool detail for first timers on this list. Wait, is it 3?
Makaze,
No, it's 3.
Wonderful, and Lato. And Symmetry.
Symmetry.
Symmetry. Lato's one before.
Lato had one.
Oh, he was
before.
last year.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's taken. Well, it's not crazy because Wonderful is like he had this like up and down form for a while. Ever since Budapest, it feels like he's been on form though, right? Like he's been playing very good Counter-Strike since then. So yeah, okay, that's all the MVPs of the year so far. I guess we all still be having Zywo as the man we think is going to take it once we get to the major, but that's a conversation for surely. Okay, Lucas, it's only 30 seconds. Do you want to run that ad break now, and then we'll come back and we'll jump further ahead.
Want to hear what the pros have to say?
You're gonna see big things from this kid.
HLTV interviews on the go as they happen. Follow HLTV on Spotify.
But that's a quick ad. I have a face. I do have a face. We've all got faces. Well, we might not all have faces.
You're stuffing your
most of
face.
us do.
That was
I was putting
fast.
food in my face. That was quick. Sorry, everybody. I got caught with my pants around
While
my
you're on
ankles or whatever.
Spotify, you can go and follow HLTV interviews for audio versions of interviews that we do at events.
It's literally my favorite way to listen to interviews. I hate it when you guys put up those YouTube ones and you don't put those YouTube ones on Spotify. I'm like,
I told
Yeah,
people
we're
that's a
on that.
mistake. That's a mistake. Shouldn't be happening.
just put it up on all the like if I'm listening to a playlist in the shower, I'm washing my hair, getting ready for my day, or I'm in the gym, right? And I'm doing my stretches in the morning. When you're stretching, you need something a bit more mellow. So I want to hear about ROPS. I want to hear from these guys. But anyway, let's stay on the fucking PowerPoint, shall we, everyone? I'm getting all over the place. So with a minimum 50 maps played, using all the tournaments that we've just highlighted there, from Malta to Shanghai, actually, there you go. That's where we started. That's where we ended. These are the top players with a minimum of 50 maps played over the course of the season. Now, this is your top 20, according to HLTV's statistical database. Donk number 1, Zywo number 2, Modesty number 3, Flames, Kyosuke, Shiro, Makazi, Keserato, Stare, and Exertion. I think that's top 10, isn't it? Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And then you've obviously got your Molodoys, your Ropses, those type of names all sprinkled in. Now, stats are only as good as the context, aren't they? So I think it's more exciting when I do this because we get the debate going. We get people's panties in a bunch. This is a minimum of 10 maps played in playoffs in 2026 so far. And as we would expect, based off of, Vitality winning almost everything, they've attended 7 events. They've only not won 2 of them. Zywo is the highest rated and clearly the highest rated. It's interesting to see fucking Latos, but this just shows you the caliber of teams he's probably playing in the playoffs otherwise. Flamesy and Rops up there, though, in the top 5. So in the top 5 of highest rated players in playoffs this year so far, you've got Zywo, Flamesy, and Rops in your top 5, which explains a lot. Then outside of that, you got Wonderful, you got Kyosuke, Monacy, Bit, and Tania. I actually was surprised to see a couple of these names here, boys. For example, Tania, because right, he hasn't had he's only had an uptick recently, but also Spirit have had more playoff maps recently when they've been playing better. But to make the top 10, that seems kind of crazy
good
to me.
I mean,
That's
because
pretty good, yeah.
both Rio and Astana Tania was good in playoffs, was great in playoffs actually. So that makes a lot of sense. Kyosuke is the cool one, right? Because for the longest time that was kind of the
Missing factor.
the drawback where Kyosuke was letting Falcons down a lot in playoffs. Last 2 tournaments he's been amazing. So that's suddenly he's like number 7 on the list.
The fact that
above Monacy, yes.
that he's above Monacy in playoff Arena C is overshadowed by Kyosuke. Look, I've been I went all in Kyosuke stocks during Astana. Like after that first game in the playoffs, I was like, I'm on this train. I'm buying. I'm holding until forever. It just. The combination of what they're doing in the team plus him being just seems like a bit more comfortable and doing a few. He still does some moves that are questionable, but you kind of have to. He's that kind of a player. He's a young player. He wants to go for moves. I think that's also kind of a problem that they have with Monacy and Kyosuke. They're both that kind of player that sometimes will do the best thing ever but maybe it's kind of questionable on paper. But they'll win your round, but then sometimes they'll lose it as well. But happy to see him delivering. I'm looking forward to him in Cologne in the arena, hopefully.
One of the big things that you were saying, Striker, right, is about Carrigan having to get the most out of him.
Yep.
You were banging on about that. So yeah, just thought this was interesting. So this is another thing to present and for people to take whatever they want from these numbers, right? You can take whatever you want from them, but these are the names that you're expecting to deliver in the big games, and that nothing looks too crazy here. Lato's, a lot of this will be because of the field that they've been playing in the recent playoffs, but still, he's obviously a very good player, right?
And sample size is the smallest out of all on this list.
Only 15, if people can see here.
Yeah, a lot of this is the Falcons game, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump into the next one. This is the top pistol players, minimum of 30 maps played, and I broke it up into T and CT sides. I'm just trying to see if there was anything interesting that leapt off the page here. So Zywu on the T side is the best pistol player over the course of all these tournaments, but Shiro at number 2 I thought was interesting, but I guess it makes sense as an AWPer,
Donk
right?
that low is interesting.
But that's it, right? But Donk on the CT side is fucking killing it on the pistols, and Zywu isn't even in the top 10. On the CT side of pistols. So there is some interesting things to take from this. Zywu is number 1 on the T side pistols, but he's not even in the top 10 of the CT side pistols. That doesn't... I feel like I've done something wrong here.
I think the Donk T side makes sense because you also see his...
That's Donk CT side. Oh, sorry, you mean he's low on T side.
That is low on T side because his KD is negative, but his rating is positive because they just throw him in stuff. Also interesting, why it's rating 2.1 here?
Oh, I don't know.
That's interesting.
I just was on your pages doing things. I don't know why it's 2.1. Any comments, Striker stats, man?
I don't know. Give me 1 second. Did you?
I'll show you what I did.
I mean, it shouldn't be for this data set. It should be rating 3.0. Maybe it's a little bug. Who knows?
I can show you the way I got there. So that we're all on the same page. But look, if the numbers are wrong, then it does matter. But if the numbers are right, it doesn't matter.
Pistols.
Only for pistols.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is the link that I don't know how it's meant to be done. Excuse me. I don't know how it's meant to be done, but what I do is I go into like the stats page for one tournament, and then where it's like on the left hand bar, you can add more tournaments. That's what
yeah, that's good. No, that's fine.
It's funny because like just to put it in perspective, Shiro and Donk are the number 1 and 2 on pistol rounds overall.
Yes. So
if I look at it, then honestly, then Zywu, then Kyosuke.
But I just thought it was interesting to break it up because when you have it all amalgamated, but to have it broken up into sides and to see like Shiro being so good on CT and T side pistols, right? Like, and if you're winning pistols and you're getting the conversions, that's 3 rounds for you and a half. Like that, we know how important this is, a pistol round, right? So just thought this was another interesting one here to take a look at. Any other takeaways, gentlemen? No other takeaways. That's fine. All right, we've stumped Striker. Now he's in the stats database.
No, I was just looking at it. Yeah.
Here's one that I whipped up. So we were talking about maps earlier. Now, some of these teams pretend or do, I would just say pretend, that they have 7 map pools, but I have put what is most readily their ban, as at least in most recent times, as their ban. So over all 32 teams at the major, which I have listed on screen here, have a nice little column on the right-hand side that shows the most banned map of all 32 teams is Anubis. It's perma-banned by 9 teams. So like somebody about like Legacy, where are they on here? They have Anubis as a ban, but you could argue they have a 7 map.
I mean, they have played it, but they don't.
But
really,
yeah, they'll play it against teams who have a weak Anubis as well, right? But really, they're not. That's their ban. So 9 teams have Anubis banned, 5 have Overpass banned, 5 have Dust 2 banned, 4 have Ancient, 4 have Nuke, 3 have Inferno, and 2 have Mirage. Mirage is the least banned map, banned by Thunder Down Under and Lin Vision. So yeah, it's just interesting to see because when you look at this, and maybe people want to use this when they're doing their pick'ems. I understand pick'ems are best of 1, but this at least will help you get there a little bit of the way, at least just start. Or if you're starting to look at best of 3s for stage 3, you could have a quick glance at this and you could just glean the information from here. Now, obviously, teams' map pools could change if they really wanted to do something drastic as an overhaul before the major. If you're a stage 1 team, probably not because you're still trying to work out your ABCs and your ones through 3s. If you're a stage 2 team, you have a little bit more time. If you're a stage 3 team, then you've got oodles of time, but you're the teams who are a bit more established. So unless you feel you need an emergency, but these are just the bans for everybody. Don't know if there's anything that jumps off the page here at people. It's no surprise to see Anubis ban the most.
Yeah. Also, it's funny that none of the Western teams banned Mirage.
Yeah. Well, the fact that there's a couple like in history, JT for the longest time was banning Mirage, but started playing it more with like passion and stuff when they got Kavem and everything. But it is interesting that it's, you know, universally probably, well, that makes sense, right? Dust 2 and Mirage,
Yeah,
the
of course.
2 most played maps. So yeah. Okay, that's the perma bans of all the teams. Great. And here is where we start getting into the major itself. So I am going to jump into the IEM Cologne preview portion of this. Maybe we'll stop sharing and we'll return to my pyramid in a moment. Let's stop sharing. Let's start talking. Stop sharing, Lucas.
Let's do that.
Okay, so Mark Winther actually put up a Reddit thread, which I thought was brave. But Mark put up a Reddit thread regarding what people can expect at the major. So the long and the short, the major starts on Monday, the 2nd of June, and runs all the way until the 21st of June. There is stage 1 and stage 2, which are going to be played in 8 consecutive days. There's no day break between stage 1 and stage 2. So there'll be 8 consecutive days of those stages. They're still run in the best of 1 as establishing games, and then best of 3s as elimination or progression matches. There'll be 2 streams a day up until the final day of each Swiss. Then we're going to have 1 day off, which I think is the 10th of June. And then we come back on the 11th with stage 3, which will have a live audience in the Palladium of about 500 people. And that will be all best of 3 for the first time in major history. Stage 3 will be 5 days and best of 3 the whole way through. And then our standard 4 days in the playoffs in the Lanxess, 8 teams, quarterfinals, semifinals, best of 5 grand final, no third place decider. I think that's like the basics of it, right? That's the framework of what's going to go down in terms of the major. But we've got some stuff going on, Prof, right? On the 10th, there's the pub quiz.
I was just about to, I was asking Bogdan how many people we have. I'm not sure. I think it's around 80, 100 maybe. That
For the pub quiz?
For the pub quiz, yeah, it's a pretty big place. And they have screens and stuff like that. So, and it just show up, get there's some entry fee ticket, a few €5, €10, something like this. Here we go. How many people and what's the price?
Is Bogdan like an AI?
I'm thinking. That's a great question. I will shortly let you know. But yeah, that's going to be a pub quiz, kind of similar to what we did in Stockholm.
Yep.
€5 is the price you pay at the door to the people at the bar. It's just for their like organizing of everything. And then we'll do the same thing with like 3 of us doing 7 questions or so each, kind of thematically, adding it all together, and we'll have some prizes. Actually didn't need to figure that out as well, but that we're doing that on the 10th. That's the off day before stage 3, and then between stage 3 and the playoffs, so it will be the Wednesday, we'll have confirmed live from the SK Gaming offices. That's a bit smaller than the Experian one.
Sold
but
out,
it's
you said.
Sold out already, and I don't know if we can get anyone in, people messaging friends and stuff like that. I think it's kind of at capacity, so it's just for guests. We can obviously bring in some people for that, and that's kind of what we can do. I think it's gonna be nice and intimate and a cool vibe for that.
Cool. All right. Other stuff, I was just reading over this post that Mark put out. They've got a content roadmap that he put in this Reddit thread. A 10-minute trailer featuring the best narratives of the season drops on Monday. There'll be player profiles. Because I always see when majors come around, people asking, where are the player profiles? That was like initially a Valve initiative. Yeah. And then it was when in the later, not even later majors, but if you had seen them after the first couple of player profiles, those things started to become driven by the TO. So it's a cost of the TO, right?
Yeah, the Faceit ones were pretty big, right? It was Stewie and Robs. That was by them done.
Yeah.
Right. That was That was Tom Diablo Newman, aka Chew now.
I remember Matt Wood, who used to work on Counter-Strike. I think it was him, or it could have been one of the other devs. I remember getting like a message from one of them about like, coming to work with me as a plumber or whatever. And this was in the lead up to a major in 2016. Then we didn't end up qualifying for it, and then I ended up retiring. And at the time, like when I got the message and the questions he was asking, I was like, these are fucking weird questions. Like, but I guess maybe I would have been on for a player profile, guys, but I didn't qualify for the major, so I missed out.
What could have been?
What could have been. Mark's called it the GOAT series documentary. I think Frank would much prefer it to be called the Field of View series documentary, because there's other Field of Views that people may have seen. But that'll be for the final of Na'Vi versus FaZe from Cologne 2022, that like 7-hour best of 5 absolute banger with twists on Nuke doing the the Canada drop or whatever they called it, and then classic ESO energy. Did he AI this, Mark? We're going to expect plenty of signature skits, preview podcasts, and some truly ambitious opening ceremonies that team has been okay. Is there anything else here that is?
There's a live orchestra that was mentioned.
Okay, yeah. Capacity over 15,000 fans.
Before, no?
They have had an orchestra before.
No, wasn't it was the choir?
Alex was the conductor.
Yeah, then there must have been an orchestra.
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't an orchestra, but
was the choir?
There was an orchestra somewhere.
There was the four ladies on the violins. There's a quartet.
Maybe that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Well, we've had. I like the drummers. The drummers were cool from Budapest. They were cool. Yep. Okay, so cool. That's all happening, right? 32 teams. You've got your major champion on the line, and then we call it for the season, and we start again a couple days later.
The talent list dropped. It might shock a lot of people, but Chad SPUNJ Burchell is gonna be doing the major. Congrats, Chad.
Oh yeah, I'm just letting it sink in. It's I will be there. I will be there. It's I think it's a lot of people would expect. I don't think it's too crazy.
I think just the casting part, I can say Sponge Machine, Harry Hugo, Moses Dinko, Scrawny Launders. That's it. That's what it should be. That's what it should be. I feel like every year somehow for the major, it's like one of them is missing for some reason. It's just like, why? These are obviously the four that are most notable, doing the most, are the best. So it's good to have them. But I think overall looks like a pretty solid talent list. A few new names, not really. Ash is the new name, and then Sticko is kind of the new guy, but he's been doing a lot of like the interviewing. Now he's going to be like, I guess, doing half, like some interviews, some desk work, some desk work, which is cool.
Yeah, we'll see what comes out of the wash there. Okay, let's jump into. Did you know how I said earlier in the week I would give you guys some homework of like power ranking these teams? I never followed up, so I don't know if you did it, but did you mentally do it? We
did them for a separate thing, so maybe we can use that, Prof.
Yeah, I did it on the side for our stuff.
Okay, so you I didn't
put like shitloads of time into it, so some of it is a bit dodgy, but like,
that's fine. Why don't we do this? I'll present my pyramid, and you guys can say like where things will differ from your opinions.
Okay,
yeah, that's
right.
Good.
And because my pyramid's a bit more general, maybe you guys have gone more specific, so we can use that as the basis.
We've done 1 to 32 for like I think we have a video coming out for something that's whatever, writer versus AI. I don't remember if that's the one.
That's the pick him. I don't know what the power ranking was for. I think it's for Harry, no, for something.
Yeah, right. That's for the infographics. That's right.
I have whacked it in here. Okay, so this is what I built, and I did make one change this morning.
Wait, you built the pyramids?
I built the pyramids, and I'll let you know that it's the reason that it's a difficult situation for people to understand is because obviously we're living in a post-Younger Dryas world, right? And obviously pre-Younger Dryas there back in Egypt, there was a lot more plentiful with water, and we were able to use some aqueduct techniques to get these stones that high up in the sky. It's technology that only plumbers will really know, so we'll leave it there. But
yeah, that's good.
I built this. So this is my pyramid. This is my hierarchy for the Cologne Major. So Vitality are obviously at the top, right? Regardless of the most recent result, that doesn't change. Does it open the conversation for other teams being in the running now because of that performance or the no practice? Yes, right? Obviously, there's blood spilled. We've had Na'Vi throw a cat in among the pigeons, as it were. So Vitality clearly number one. Then after that, my next two are Spirit and Na'Vi. They're the teams who I think are next in the striking position to take down Vitality. Now, Spirit obviously don't have the head-to-head to base that off of. Na'Vi do in recent times. And for me, it's not about the quality of Vitality that they beat. It's the fact that they beat Vitality, right? That mental unlock for Na'Vi, I think, is a huge boon. For Spirit, I just like what I've been seeing. They won a trophy before for some confidence, and they're trending upwards. And then in the same bubble, I have Furia and Falcons, but they both live in this position because of the peak or the ceiling of their teams. If they play to their absolute best capacity, they're in with a chance.
I'll interject here and say, so far, so good. Like, this is 100% how I see it again. And also for Na'Vi, the fact that they've been beating everyone else, like not everyone else, but they've been losing to Vitality, and when Vitality is not there, they've been winning, and that's a good
sign.
baseline to set, because Vitality can also lose to someone else, but they can beat that team later on in the tournament, right? That's where Na'Vi has a bit more, going for them than just the average team.
Agreed.
So the top 5, good. These are the teams that I see as
clear. That was the clearest for me as well when I was doing like the top 5. That was very, very simple.
Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit murky. Now, the reason I've put MOUZ here on their own little island is not that I expect them to
win the tournament.
Just, I think that they showed with Zelex and JL for a temporary period of time, even though it wasn't necessarily the most competitive tournaments, and you could argue that the context of these tournaments in this period is different, and the pressure on MOUZ is different due to their recent roster changes. All those things do exist, but they still played. Let me try again. They still placed well at these events.
Yep.
Right? Now, how much of that? This is something that has to be brought up, and I'm not a massive MOUZ fan. I'm not a MOUZ hater. I'm just not a fan.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Look, I love Germans, all right, but I'm not huge fans of big.
I remember that quote going
and MOUZ
differently.
But either way, I think that MOUZ still have to stay in the orbit, right? Because I know they have Brolin coming in to replace JL, but the reason they have won these games that they have won is because Exertion is posting almost consistently 1.7 ratings, which doesn't feel humanly possible.
Yeah. Like what he's doing is like superstar level shit, unless he gets to a semifinal, of course.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't even that's why for me they are where they are, because if Exertion is going to go into every game of Counter-Strike he plays, unless it's a playoff game, and unless that playoff game is a semifinal against another good team, and he's going to drop the ratings that he has been dropping, then how could I not? I
also think it makes sense to put them. Obviously, yeah, the detail of Brolin coming back for JL, I think, is going to maybe put things. Yeah, it's going to make things a bit awkward, right? Because it's a lot of changes, role changes for Brolin that aren't necessarily going to be one for one, because JL took up mostly Jimmy's positions, right, instead of Brolin's. So that's going to make it awkward, because I'm sure they're just going to slot Brolin and Jimmy's old positions and whatever JL's been playing, because why else would you make this change otherwise? And that's probably gonna make it very difficult for them to keep up the same level of form, but still, like, the results so far have been better than all the teams that you have in the same group, and quite significantly, right? So it just makes sense.
It's just look, I wouldn't normally bank on a player dropping bonkers ratings like this, but you just flick through Exertion's ratings, and more often than not, right, he's got like a 1.5 or a 1.4 or a 2.15. He's got like, his ratings are insane. So just based on that fact alone, and the fact that they've been able to do this in recent history with all the kerfuffle, you have to keep him at least in the bubble. Like, if you ask me, do I think MOUZ in the playoffs create the best possible playoff bracket? I would say no. But they're still a team that are hard for most of these names to get past.
Pretty likely to make the playoffs. They
could very well make the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've kind of put them in their own little world here. And then
to put things into perspective, Xerxon is, like, for the last month in the top 30, Xerxon is the highest rated player in the world.
There you go. I thought like I sounded like I was going a little bit nuts on it, but when you frame it that way, okay, good. Yeah, so he's been putting up monster numbers. So we'll see how that continues.
It is actually cut off. It looks like a cut off Donks, which is he was like 160, but he just didn't have enough maps. But he's top 2, top 3.
Yeah, either still, like, the sample size, the higher the sample size, if he's that's anyway. Then after that, so this is where I have kind of put them in order, but not really. Like, they are in order, but not really in order. Like, Legacy, I think, is the next one up, and that's because of their recent performances, right? Atlanta and now CAC. I think that one, they're a late run in the season for a conversation. And then after that, I think all of these teams you could group together quite easily. G2, Mongols, for Aurora, PARIVISION.
Maybe PARIVISION. I would probably put like somewhere in between group. That and the next.
Okay.
Maybe
so
like at the
PARIVISION
top
have
of the
dropped
next
that much
one.
in your expectations.
Yeah, I'm just not been a big fan.
Yeah, look,
It's just from the individual side, and that's obviously bleeding into the team side a lot. Just they don't have faith in the playstyle they're playing at the moment. You can tell how James is calling some of these maps. You can tell he's just not having faith in individuals in the individuals making the right moves on the sidelines, right? So he's just calling a lot more out of spawn and things like that. We saw at CAC, and it was just not working. It was just a rough look.
So the reason I might struggle here to drop them down to that next rung of teams is there's a lot of names that I can see them having close games against there, but they should be winning against a lot of those names. Is that just me living in old PARIVISION world?
No, I don't necessarily think so, because like obviously if you look back, they've lost. I mean, they've lost the last 2 games to Mongols, they've lost to G2 the last game, they've lost the last 2 games to Aurora. They lost the last game to Foot, so they've lost actually to pretty much. But they've also beaten Falcons, in Rotterdam, which is not that far, that long ago.
It feels like
So it's
another lifetime.
But like the last 2 months have been rough, and they've like the teams they beat in the last 2 months are Linvision, Liquid, Fisher College, Wildcard, Focus, and Legacy. So the only team out of the teams that you just mentioned is Legacy that they've beaten, and that was like beginning of Bucharest, and since then obviously Legacy have looked a lot better.
Yeah, Legacy have looked a lot better since they had a rough spot. They did have a rough spot.
With that in mind, I would have put them probably maybe at the top of the next one, because their ceiling can still be a lot better than all the teams that you have in that group, but just current form is really rough.
What about you, Prof?
I deleted a comment that I wanted to reply to from Jolexu. Sorry about that. He said, or they said, gonna need some more social distancing between Aurora and PARIVISION, and I couldn't be more agreed. We need some space there. It's not okay.
That's 2 meters in my book. I was always breaking the rules.
Also, they have a mask. So
okay, so you guys would have you have less faith in PARIVISION than I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. What about some of these other
We don't
names
need to
here?
change anything. This is Chad's pyramid of Giza.
I can put Chad's pyramid.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything else. This is exactly like, other than PARIVISION, these like from MOUZ to Aurora are literally my top, all the way to the top 10.
I would put Mongols behind Aurora.
Mongols behind Aurora?
Yeah,
okay.
They'd be there, but like at the end of that list.
We actually have a very similar list, Prof. I can see.
I think that these two, I think Foot, firepower-wise, out of these guys, if I was just basing off of firepower, I'd put them probably at the top.
I also didn't follow this Foot, not Astralis, not Astana, Atlanta situation.
They lost to Bait.
Yeah, so that was kind of bad, but obviously the Fort Worth we read off, they played with Coolio, even though they won Dust2 against Vitality, not really anything. So I have hope that they're going to bounce back for the major, because there's some circumstances around that. Lonks obviously had some health issues coming back, probably not feeling the best, and he's a huge part of their success this year. I think he has been their best player. I mean, not the MVP in Bucharest, but overall, if you look at the whole year, he's just been more impactful, more involved and stuff. So I think if he's not playing his best, then this team is not going to be playing their best.
Yeah. I actually have Aurora at the top of that list, just based on more like 3 months, because Legacy, obviously, last month has been great, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily replicable, because I don't know if WATO is going to be able to do the same things that he was doing, like the clutches that he was getting off, like those, they literally won the maps at some. They all came in such crucial moments and all that. So, like it's something that I'm not necessarily sure that they will be able to do again to the same degree.
I think there's fun things with a lot of these teams here. They're like Legacy, G2, Mongols, Foot are all teams who play fun Counter-Strike and brawly CS.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't always look fun when they're playing poorly, right? But if they are in a good game of CS, these guys all have really, like, think about how deep you can go on each of these teams with players in terms of guys you're expecting to throw like multi-kills or get stuck in action, or like, that's awesome. And then it becomes more stylistic when I look at Aurora and I look at PARIVISION, right? Like, I'm less about the individuals, more about style and veto. That's where the conversation changes for me. Like, obviously, I think about style and veto when I think about these four, but I think just more fun in general at Counter and more brawly Counter-Strike. Like, I haven't lost faith on Aurora yet, even though their results in recent times haven't been great. My biggest issue for them is like playoff stuff. And that's also why I have Foot further down the list than I do a G2 or a Mongols, is because Foot have players without any major experience whatsoever. right? And that has to factor in, right, that they're playing in a major. Even though they played in big tournaments all year long, some of them they were lucky to be playing in because other teams pulled out, but it's still a factor, right? Oh shit, it's our first major. Maybe they don't sleep great the night before. So there's a couple of reasons. But I think like Footer, a team I could see sneaking into one of these playoff spots for sure.
Yeah, I have like my order is Aurora, Foot, Mongols, Legacy, and then G2 at the end, and then PARIVISION. I have a few spots lower.
Okay, so we're in the same universe of teams here. Yeah, okay. What about the next rung, boys? Because I've got Gamer Legion, Bait, Astralis. This is the biggest one for our audio-only listeners. Gamer Legion, Bait, Astralis, 9Z, Bet Boom, Heroic, Pain, M80, MIBR, Monty, Liquid, Sharks, Big, NRG, and Sinners.
I'm a bit surprised you put Sharks in that conversation
Sharks
and not the
was
bottom
down
one.
here. They were in the bottom one, but they did beat 9Z. So I thought if I'm going to have faith that 9Z are up here, then I've got to put Sharks at least in the same bubble. But I did have Sharks previously. Sharks was down the bottom with the Aussies and the Chinese and Gaming Gladiators.
They do have a game against Alliance in 20 minutes. So
if they lose to Alliance, they go back down. If they beat Alliance, they can stay.
That sounds fair. That sounds fair.
Yeah,
I had Sharks. I had them as my like 0-3. I don't know much about them. Haven't seen them play, but just based on
Me too.
Usually there's a South American team, North American team.
Ardienzao, Koala. You got to know these guys, Prof.
I love Kochi, the coach.
Coachy the coach.
I had 5 rookies.
I had a coach cab drive, so to speak, with him one time, and enjoyable person to talk to. Obviously,
Coach is a crazy guy, by the way. Like I've had several interviews with him. He always has like insane takes, and he's always like, "My team's gonna win this tournament," and they obviously then bomb out, and you're like, "So what happened there?"
No, but I just didn't see much. This is their first thing, but I put that 0-3 before the stake ranked happened. So,
but it's the 5 guys. This is literally 5 major rookies. Like this is a team that's never even been anywhere near a major in the past, and just I don't think a few local wins over decent teams.
Qualified for this event, so you gotta give it to them.
That's a throwback.
It's because their player is Koala.
I know, but do you remember whatever?
I merged 2 memes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good job. Good stuff.
So the one that stands out here, guys, is Sharks. Nothing else? Like nothing else? You're not like...
So I had energy. So I have energy and Sharks in like the bottom 5, and then I have Tylo and Linvision like just above. Like the order is slightly different, I think.
Okay.
So that's about it.
I'm also not putting Thunder Down Under as 0-3 in any category. They're winning a game.
I am.
They're winning a game for sure. Gaming Gladiators at the bottom.
I am surprised some people haven't actually looked at this Gaming Gladiators roster, which has an average age of like 31.
That's funny.
I've never seen that in my life. Above 29, I have not seen in my life. 31 is insane.
There's a lot of this category of teams though, right? Which maybe I'll try and give some logic to, because like this is where people are going to have a lot of things to say, which is crazy, because when you think about the things that you're going to say is this team is bad, but it's like a lot of these teams are not great teams. That's why they're in the, and that's why this is the broadest group, is because to be able to tell me the difference between a Bet Boom and a Pain, you've only got a little bit of wiggle room.
Upper, maybe now that you have the upper rung, I would have probably included MIBR in that after seeing them at CAC a bit.
Sure.
And then have the lower rung what it is, just because we haven't necessarily seen so much, just because I think MIBR are more on the level of a Bait, an Astralis, a Bet Boom type thing, maybe Heroic, because they actually did show a pretty good ceiling in CAC.
Heroic having bad results at the moment right now.
Yeah. I just mean ceiling wise. I think Heroic like 2 months ago were still okay, even with Youngstar. Yeah. It's just the last couple of tournaments have been pretty bad.
Monty disappointed me a lot in Astana. Like they did fuck all, like all of this hype around them in tier 2 and doing pretty well and winning tournaments.
They had a rough couple of opponents though, right? Like every team they lost to was like a pretty lopsided match.
True,
because they lost to G2, Falcons, Furia.
But that's the thing. They're a stage 2 team, right? So they're on the top of that. They should have been on top of this, towards the top of this group, but every time they faced like a decent team, they looked
there was
bad.
more the fashion which they lost than to whom, because it was like fucking 4 of those maps against G2 and Furia I think were like 13 3s, 13 2s.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where I'm like, well, maybe they still might be better than most of these teams in this group, but I don't think they'll make it past any good teams.
Yeah, I will say I am.
Agreed.
Yeah, Sinners are definitely at the bottom of that list or somewhere near that because they just haven't really beaten any good teams other than who was it? Oh, did they beat Astralis at one of these smaller tournaments? One of these teams, I can't remember who it was.
There's also
Bad Boom, I think Bad Boom is there.
Didn't-
Yeah,
Sinners?
they beat Bad Booms for sure. Bad Boom for sure.
Maybe
Just one of these
Big?
higher teams. Big for sure. They've played a bunch of tournaments at the same level. Yeah, it was G2. BC Game Masters Championship. It was G2.
That's when all the roster stuff was happening, right?
That's
with
effectively
Nerds
what
and MOUZ.
I think it might that was what like locked them in for the major or something or somewhere close to that, right? So
I'm happy to see the Gamer Legion like turn around towards the end now of this run.
Well, we saw them at the start of the season, and we've seen them at the end of the season. In the middle of the season, they weren't qualifying for the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good group of players, like PR, Rez, Hypex is showing something. You know,
Very
it's
clutch. Towson's a very good role player.
Towson is pretty good. Yeah, so it felt bad that they were just not on the radar at all. And then Snacks is obviously calling some good T sides. They're one of the best T side teams, so they can be an exciting, like, you know, don't want to say dark horse, but, you know, one of these teams on the fringe of the top 16 or whatever that can maybe make it edge playoffs in a good scenario for them. So they can add something interesting, right? They're not just going to get smashed
they're
by
like
any
one of
big
those
team.
teams that could take a win off of any of the group above, right? Probably not the two groups above, but a group above for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gamer Legion and Bait, and for me after that, I'm off on Astralis because I just think the attitude that they display in their games, that they must be getting tilted too easily and frustrating because it always feels like a sour mood in that camp. I think Astralis would be the next one who would feel comprehensive enough map pool wise and like player experience wise and everything like that. But the Gamer Legion and Bay, I think that they're a cut above the rest of this field, like only just. But whereas like we've seen 9Z recently punch above their weight, we've seen BetBoom recently punch above their weight, right? And that's kind of this category of teams is like we know that these guys can scalp the bigger names if they're having a good day. It's do I expect them to go deep? Probably not. But I could see any of these names in these bottom two rungs cannibalizing each other, right? Like
also, like Spirit is stage 2, right?
Yes.
So they're going to be playing best of ones. Like I can see Spirit losing to most of these teams in a best of one.
Sure. Well,
like
in a world, yeah, you can
if
build
you go
the
to
story. Yeah.
Gamer Legion, Bait, not Bait, I think, but Astralis, 9Z, BetBoom, MIBR. I feel like they can all take a best of one against Spirit. I think that's possible.
Yeah.
Did you watch a lot of MIBR, Chad?
I watched some of their recent games. I am a bit higher on them, right? Like
I like them a lot, to be honest. Like after watching them at CAC,
What do you like?
they don't look like a Brazilian team. They just look super solid. Like they don't do stupid shit like Legacy sometimes do, you know, like some of these like pushes through smokes or like very random rushes that Out pulls out sometimes. Obviously sometimes it works, but they are relying on just a solid CS rather than like some crazy like individual plays. Insani's obviously been really good as well, and that's helped them. Klim's been really good, that's helped them. But it is mostly through good CS that they're playing that they're winning some of those games in CAC.
Yeah, I'm a bit higher on them in recent time than I was, but it's also one of those things where I'm factoring in where the field has been at for some of these recent tournaments too. So there are teams who look like they're on the uptick, but is that because of where the other teams are at type beat?
Yeah.
Big, we still don't have any data from them that we can actually use. Like there's no guys, go look at Big's matches this year. There is no data that you can use that you feel you can make a credible decision on them being a good or a bad team on.
Yeah, them and Sinners are in a similar group with that. Like the only good team Sinners played was G2, right? So, or each other, like BetBoom and some of these guys.
And that factors into this last field, these teams almost exclusively this year have played nobody of any note. All of these teams, Tyloo, Linvision, FlyQuest, Thunder Down Under, Gaming Gladiators. It's probably why I also had Sharks down there before, because when you look at their matches, like they've just played nobody of any
Just
note
the regional
other than teams in their
basically,
region.
yeah.
And even then, those results are poor for all of these names. Their results are like the fact that these teams qualified to the major with what they didn't do is insane. Like and they're in their own category, not because like I agree with Prof with the Thunder Down Under. They're probably going to win a best of one. Like it's probably going to happen, right? So these teams have that crazy outsider upset
so
chance.
Little pressure on them that it's gonna be okay, and they're decent players. Like overall, I was listening a bit to the Geographically Challenged with Dexter, and he was talking about them versus FlyQuest, and FlyQuest kind of shitting the bed at the latest hero.
Yeah, the EWC qualifier in China.
CL, yeah.
Yeah, so at that tournament, and he was just saying, FlyQuest as an org puts a lot of pressure on the players and the team overall, and sometimes people don't really react to that well. And these guys are already winning; they don't even have an org, so all the team stickers are also their stickers. They're fucking, they're killing it. They barely played any tournaments. Realistically, they shouldn't be.
They're living the dream.
But they're like so outside of this. It's kind of like a hobby journeyman, but also, as you know, these are players that played a lot of majors. There's like 3/5 of FlyQuests of a year ago.
Yep.
So it's not like they're shitting anyway. So I think they're gonna take a scalp or two for sure.
You'll hear it if you listen to the Talk and Counter episode, Prof. But what I did was I compared Thunder Down Under and FlyQuest to. I was watching Dodgeball the night before, and it's too perfect, right? Like Thunder Down Under, they're the average Joe's gym, right? And then you've got FlyQuest, who are they're the Cobras, the fucking Globo Corpo. That's quite truly it. Like Thunder Down Under. It's got to be someone in the family making the jerseys, and someone's girlfriend doing the social media, and someone's mate who made the logo, and their mate Eddie, he's now the coach. Like it's just like a bunch of dudes. It's really reminds me of back in the day.
Isn't Eddie like an observer or something?
Eddie, aka
does like a lot of things.
Bowser, aka Viridian. Yeah, he was doing some observing stuff, but then he was also doing he was making the context clips for ESL. But now he's coaching. So yeah, he makes videos.
He's sports journeyman kind of moment. Yeah,
that seems like a good guy, Eddie. Okay, so this is my pyramid, and we kind of went through how things differ. So anything top level that you guys?
I just think Tyloo, obviously they didn't play outside, but they did do that one Rotterdam where they killed FaZe's hopes for making
the best of one.
Yeah, they
played Legacy really close too, so I think there's like a ceiling to them that they can hit.
I would put them a bit higher. Obviously, they weren't like perfect domestically, but there's something there. I give them a chance, outside chance to do something.
Okay, all right. Try to get anything else with any of these teams?
No, not particularly.
Okay, because we're going to talk more about them in just different vessels in a second.
Vessels, okay.
Okay.
Vessels.
So that's a top-down look at the 32 teams. We know that the main story is around Vitality. Then the main side stories are around the next four: Spirit, Na'Vi, Furia, Falcons, right? And
should we get the social media team on the chat's pyramid?
Sure. Yeah.
Last time did fucking numbers.
It popped off. People loved it. People love pyramids.
Solve the following riddle.
You didn't do like a random, didn't include a team, where
everyone's here this time. Yeah.
Everybody's actually included.
What was that, Prof?
Solve the following riddle: youngest and oldest player attending the upcoming major. That one seems pretty easy. I know there's been some other questions for this episode were kind of wild.
I know who the youngest is. I guess the oldest I know too. Yes. Pretty sure.
I meant to just give away the answer like that.
I'm not sure.
We can do it.
I'm not sure, but you can do that for some bonus on stake. You can see it on the lower part if you're a video only viewer. If you're not, kind of tough luck on you, I think.
The race never ends. That's the last segment. But what I meant to say was gamble responsibly. All right, next segment. Moving along. Okay. I need to go out of full screen here.
Okay.
Guys, as you can see right now, right, we are going to... How do I get it? There we go.
You're gonna move the X.
We're gonna move the X's. So we're gonna, because people like to do pick'ems, right? And with the pick'ems, they like to predict how things are gonna go by using the simulator. So let's give our first round picks on the opening matches.
I'll do this as fast as possible.
We'll just do one match at a time, and I'll just move them all across.
Okay, so, NRG out.
Okay, Striker.
Yes, same.
Okay, I will join the consensus there. Prof.
I'll take Tyloo.
Oh, Tyloo winning. Tyloo winning the game.
No, I'll X them. 86,
oh, okay.
86
Say who thinks gonna win the game.
I will take Tyloo win.
Okay, cool.
I will take Tyloo win.
Okay, all right. Based on what, Striker?
Just pure vibes.
Pure vibes. Okay, that's fine. We like vibes.
I'll take Heroic to win.
Okay, I think we're surely unanimous there.
Same.
Yeah, I in a best of one, it's where I think Sharks actually have the better of the chances.
Absolutely, best bet boom. Sorry.
Even though Heroic have been on not playing having the best results lately, I don't think that's indicative of the Counter-Strike they can play, if that makes sense. You said obviously bet boom. Okay.
Same.
Yeah. Look, even though we don't even know the roster they're going to use at the major yet, you're still picking them over Gaming Gladiators. Guys, this team's like it. I don't even think Fur's going to be the worst player on the team. That's not even the reason that I think. I look at the roster and I go, how? It's like me, Yam, as
bro. They're gonna hit some fucking what are they called? Last Dance Antwerp bullshit. I'm telling you, like they're gonna get a game.
They're not winning a best of 3. It's gonna have to come in a best of 1.
No, they're gonna win a couple of best of 1s or something.
This is a nightmare. Big versus Liquid.
I'm taking Big.
I'm taking Big as well. Fuck it.
You guys both think Liquid are gonna lose?
No faith in Liquid at the moment.
Now, I've recently described Liquid as soulless. That was the term I think I used to describe them. But
and Big as skillless.
Guys, I am gonna wait until Big actually beat a good Counter-Strike team before I start taking them seriously. They qualified for the major by picking and choosing the VRS events and winning the games very, very wisely. In the options and chances of events that they played, where they had the opportunity to win games to play against bigger teams, they fucking bottled it. So we have no data of Big beating anybody good. As much as Liquid is in the mud, Big have beaten nobody. At least Liquid have beaten people we know. Like, they might not be winning many games, but at least they're playing against those teams.
Big beat FaZe.
Yeah, sick, Striker. Great one, man.
They did.
They did.
And it didn't mean anything to them.
Nothing.
They did it for the love of the game. I'm going to take M80 to win. I think they're pretty, out of the NA teams, probably the best. Alongside Wildcard, of course.
Do you have anything here, Striker? Would you go different than M80?
I'm thinking. Yeah, okay. I'll take M80 as well.
Okay. Like this one I could see LinVision win.
Yeah.
Like this one I could, like, what's the vetoes with these guys? Let's check it out, guys. LinVision remove Mirage, M80 remove Nuke. Well, obviously it's a best of 1, so we're going to be getting, but at least we know that those outliers aren't there. But that does mean that Anubis is in the map pool. We know that M80 likes some Anubis. LinVision once upon a time enjoyed some Anubis. Look, just for the spice of life, I am going to, no, but if I was being serious, maybe this is one of those upsets.
I mean, that's why I picked Tyloo, because like I want to pick one upset that I think is the most likely. Yeah,
I'm going to go with LinVision on that one. Okay.
Bro, I'm picking MIBR. Yeah.
Same.
Okay, that's fine.
Same.
That's fine. I think we're all unanimous there. I just think
it's really rough. Like I see an upset from Thunder Down Under, but I think MIBR are one of the best teams in this group out of all 16. Like they're top 4 or something. So it's just not the one. I don't think so. And then I'm taking Sinners. I'm not taking FlyQuest to win anything.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I put Sinners.
I take Sinners to win. Take Sinners to win.
Oh, sorry. I misunderstood.
Yeah, same. I put Sinners above FlyQuest in the power rankings, so I'll do this.
I'm taking FlyQuest over Sinners. Same thing with Sinners is big, and also with FlyQuest, everybody's like, so everyone is quite down on FlyQuest. I'm one of those people. They need to pull their finger out because they've been playing like absolute shit. They haven't practiced a lot, but I don't care. That's an excuse. Work it out. Get the people to Europe.
It's actually insane. Like I was looking at their history and like the teams they're losing to:
pathetic.
5-star, GG Hao, Tyloo, Alter Ego, Chinggis Warriors,
pathetic.
100 Thieves, Heroic.
It's pathetic.
As an insider, is it true that they're like not practicing generally because they are like half in Europe, half in Australia?
Yeah. So as a JKS and Story, so that's the coach and 2 players, live in Europe, and then the other 3 of them live in Australia/New Zealand. There was a conversation after the last major to move the other 3 to Europe, but nothing's manifested there. I don't know if that's a player issue or an organizational issue. I know Papa Smitty listens to this podcast or some of the podcasts I do, so maybe he will reach out and give me the why. But I would guess as an organization, you're pretty dissatisfied with the results. And if you're the players, you're probably pretty dissatisfied with the results and how things are trending. But they are practicing in Europe now, and I think it'll probably be about a 2-week boot camp by the time they get into Cologne. So that's why I have a little bit more faith, is because they're actually practicing for this event. And previously, their practice was just doing theory with like in a time zone that was weird for 2 different places. There's
that's dog shit.
There's a 7 to 9 hour time difference depending on like Story to it'd be maybe even be more if Nedic's still in New Zealand. Then that could be like 10-hour time difference.
It's one of those, like, we can talk shit about them, but also you can't really expect anything. Like, what circumstances do you have to perform? None. And who is responsible for that? I don't know. Whoever is, they know, and they should feel bad about it.
And look at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, I think sometimes from the outside we can be rough on teams, maybe players or whatever, but without the context, it is unwarranted. And in this case, it's unwarranted towards someone. I don't know who that is, but as a collective, this lineup on the server is dog shit right now.
It's not good.
And they're performing way below the quality of the players and the brand and everything. So they're letting everyone down.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly. So just in reflection, Prof picked all the favorites. Striker picked all the favorites bar one, and I actually took a risk in life. I feel like Liquid is the favorite against Big. I'll just say that. Okay.
I think they are. I think realistically, you have to think they are, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, this is just a fun off the cuff without too much research.
Yeah.
Just little predictions. Okay. Final one on the slide. I had to do some AI because the people in the comments. So here's kind of like, as I'm getting older, I feel like I'm getting a better read for what the community wants, right? As I'm getting older,
there are so many things. There are so many questions I have looking at this fucking thing.
And keep it like this, Lucas. And so, right, like you take a look at this and you think to yourself, Chad's a genius. The people, not only do they love AI, they love AI that's doing the job of artists. So I've really made sure to give that to our audience today with this last one. But
without the Gemini logo in the bottom corner, I wouldn't even know it was AI.
I hand drew this. You wouldn't quite fucking believe it. Now,
including the logo.
There's a quote here from Harry Russell. This is presumably from EPL season 19.
So you know the best part of it, like, we could ask a designer to like make something for us, but it wouldn't hit the same.
The charm wouldn't be the same, would it?
No,
it wouldn't be the same.
And we're also not losing any money on, like, we're not paying an artist. Yeah. We already have artist designers on.
We're not wasting their
contract.
time.
We're just giving them better projects to work on.
Exactly.
Chad's 13 slide PowerPoint presentations. Well, give me an artist. I want one each week. Okay, so
go ahead with the quote. I love that.
The quote is: you can take a gift horse to the water, but you can't make it win a major. Now, there's a lot going on in that. But
that's like three different things combined into one. That's great.
Honestly, it says just Harry EPL season 19, but this sounds like a pimp quote to me.
No, we were doing a whole horse-themed thing on one of the EPL seasons where we were just like, we were doing sayings, but like wrong.
I do remember this. And
there was a whole horse bit. But when I was a kid, I used to go to a thing in Perth, Western Australia, in Claremont, called the Perth Royal Show. And we'd have a royal show all over in all of the capital cities in Australia, right? And a royal show in the old days used to just be a place that the farmers would all come together to sell their livestock and trade on some of their different wares. Over time, it's still that, right? The farmers still go and they take their livestock and their animals and stuff, but there's Sideshow Alley, and Sideshow Alley has like fucking roller coasters and bumper cars and carnival games. And one of the carnival games was this, maybe you sat like 15 people and you sat on these little stools and you were all competing against each other. So you'd wait until it was all full up and you'd have these balls and you'd roll these balls up in these holes, and there were holes worth different denominations. And if you got a higher denomination, your horse, right? There was a horse and a racetrack in front of you, moved further along. So whoever got the most balls in the quickest horse, and you pick a prize, right? That's how it works. So
okay, but why are they bowling? Why is it a bowling alley?
Well, now listen, this is bad AI. So it's not meant to be bowling balls. And also the horses are meant to be up where the prizes are. And there's meant to be a whole run of them. They're running down like this and the horses run across, right? Okay. The way this is done, it doesn't matter, right? Either way, you get the point.
There's so many wrong. There's so many things that are wrong with this.
But I get the idea.
Nothing's right about AI. Let's just put that on the record right now. Down with the computers. Fuck John Connor or whatever. Here's how this is going to work. In my opinion, there are 5 main teams in the conversation for the major. And if you want to have a dark horse of a 6 who you think is going to win the major, that's fine. But right now, you can't see this. You gentlemen can't see this. But on the left of my screen, I have created Counter-Strike money. Each of you will have 175 Counter-Strike dollars to spend. You can either, if you're all in on one team to win the major, we can put you $175 on that one team. But if you want to spread the wealth, you have to spread it in denomination of a $100 bill, a $50 bill, or a $25 bill. We can spread the load across other horses. The point is here, I want you to pick your winner, your favorite. That's the one that we're going to give the $100 to, but you can go all in. It's up to you how you want to spend this money. So, Striker, yours is the first head. Who are you backing to win the major?
You have to pick Vitality. Just I cannot convince myself.
It's begrudging, but he said it.
I cannot convince myself to put anybody else's favorites. Like, we know all the context. Like, we know that they're gonna get down to boot camp properly now, and they're gonna be back up at top form, and they should just be favorites in every fucking scenario.
Now, are you all in with your $175?
No, I will not put them all in because I see a world.
I'm gonna put 100 Striker dollars here on them. You've still got 75 to spend in a $50 and a $25 denomination. How would you like to spend it, sir?
I'll put 75 on Spirit.
Oh,
75 on Spirit. That's almost a 50-50.
The Striker's going to throw a little bit of money over here on this horse, and he's going to throw his 25 here. So here's his counter-strike money. There it is.
Also, a Striker face next to that.
Well, I don't know. Like, can he have two
faces?
I guess he can have two faces. He can have two faces.
I mean, Fallen does.
Figure it out.
Okay, there you go. It's kind of working. Here it is. There it is. Turning the money. Great. Okay. So I can't believe that. Okay, take us through that, Striker, because of your money, you haven't even put 50% of it on Vitality.
No, he put 50%.
No, I put more than 50. I put more than 50% out of 175. 100 out of 175 is more than 50%.
What's going on?
Do the math, Chad. 175 total.
Yeah.
And I put 100 on Vitality. That's more than half.
You're right. He's right.
More than half.
He's got me here. He has got me here. I think what I meant to say was the distribution of the money I'd provided you.
Yeah.
You have it. You've still hedged in a way that means that there's only $25 less on Vitality than there is on Spirit, which would mean that you have Spirit in with a pretty decent shot at winning the major.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, that, sir, requires some clarification to the room. Regardless of how bad my maths is,
yes,
we still need to get to the bottom of this.
Your angle is good, regardless of your reasoning for it.
I might be stupid.
Thank you very much. So
but that's a good post.
Look,
right
if I was being more reasonable, I would have put like 25 on Navi, right? Just to have like a top 3, right? But that would be fucking boring, and so I just want to get.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
So I just want to go a bit more heavy on Spirit. First of all, I just like what I saw from Spirits. But also, Falcons are fucking cursed. I'm never gonna bet them to win anything. They're until they win, I will not bet them to win anything. You remember I said they would win one of these 2 tournaments that they just played. They fucked up the one that they 100% should have won because they're fucking cursed. They just need to get the witch, whichever witch put the curse on them. They just need to find her, kill her, whatever they need to do to her. Fuck her.
Whoa.
Whatever.
Not like that. Whoa.
Look, whatever you need to do. I don't care what you have to do. Just get it lifted, okay?
Get the witch.
Until you get it lifted, I'm not going to back them to win anything. So I'm not going to put Falcons. And I think Fury at the last few tournaments haven't necessarily shown that they can win tournaments. So same thing. I wouldn't put any bets on them. So it is realistically between 3 teams for me. And I just like Spirit more. I just like Tanir. I was waiting to see whether he would replicate Rio, and he did in Astana, I think. It took him a little moment, but, who cares about the first 2 group games, realistically? Then he was great after that point. Donk is in fucking prime form at this point.
Great form.
Everything's like angling towards them being like a realistic contender. I think obviously Navi are in with a chance. Like, if I had another $40, I would probably put it on Navi in this scenario, so I think they're still really solid as a team. So I think they're like a good close third as well.
Okay. All right. Great justifications there. Prof, it's your turn.
Okay. My understanding is also like, let's say the more money is on a team, the less valuable it is to put money on that team, because if they win, then it's going to be divided based on, let's say, if both me and Striker.
I just wanted to know which horse you were backing.
If me and the Striker both put $100 on Vitality and Vitality wins, then we split the winnings, right?
There's other people playing too. We're the only 3 people we know in the game, though.
Okay. So we're not.
The game's kind of the world. and the money's just a percentage, and it's not 50.
Okay.
So who are you backing?
I just need to understand like the angle, what I'm angling against.
Who do you think's going to win the major?
Obviously, Vitality.
Yeah, but you say obviously. Striker just went obviously Vitality, but then he put $75 of $175 on
More than
Spirit.
half. More than half.
Yeah.
I will not let you forget this for a while. That's okay.
Yeah, no.
I would put 100. It's hard. It's hard because I wanna put a little punt on Falcons.
Okay.
But it only would make sense if like there's a bigger return on Falcons.
Yeah, but
because
the return is you're right.
But I'm small right or big right or medium right.
Okay,
That's the question, right? Or big plus medium. That's where I'm going for.
Okay.
I think I'll put 150 on Vitality.
Okay, and then you wanted to put a little one on
And
Falcons.
I'll put 25 on the Falcons.
Okay, there's his 150. And then his little 25 here on Falcons. So he's keeping the dream alive. There you go.
Yeah, that's
You happy
good.
with that?
I feel like my wad of cash for Vitality is floating too far away from me. I'm scared
Oh, you
someone's
want
going
your
to scoop
hands
it up.
on it? I can put your
Yeah.
hands on it. I just didn't want to cover the Vitality logo, but there we go.
That's much better. That's
There
much
you go.
better.
Your face.
You still got it. You still got your hands on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay. So do you want
That's
to talk
not how
about
it works, though. You know, you have to put the money on the table, and
But it's in front of me.
okay,
shit? I clicked the wrong button.
it's okay.
Where'd you
Just
go?
go back down.
I'm back. Sorry.
I like this game, Chad. This is really cool, actually.
Look
We
at
should
this,
come up
guys.
with something like this for Confirmed Live, where everyone puts money on the table and we do something. Oh no, that would
What,
be
in the
illegal.
crowd?
That would be illegal. But
Not if we
you know,
use Monopoly. Not if we use fake money.
if we do something like that, I think that could be, if we do like a big, let's say, projection of the bracket and who's going to win, and then people
Yeah.
put Monopoly money on it to like get like a visual
Yeah.
of like how certain people are about a certain outcome. That could be kind of cool.
Yeah. There's plenty of places we go on Cologne to get stuff for that.
Monopoly. We could get the ESL Monopoly. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Do they
guess
still
if
sell
you
that?
want. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, Chad, yours up next.
Okay, finally me. I am going all in
Yeah.
on Vitality, which is boring. Which is boring because it's like, well, that's not very exciting, is it? But I am of the believer that this is the greatest Counter-Strike team to ever touch the game. I think that they have taken what the blueprint that Astralis has put out there, and they have ironed it out in the modern game against everyone else who also has the blueprint, and they do it better than anyone has ever done it. And I think that the thing that I am the most impressed with is their mentality and attitude. Most of the time, and Atlanta is obviously the exception, but they were very clear that they were leading with a break. I agree with the sentiment that Striker was talking about when it came to, you know, they're going to be locked in, practicing, you know, the focus is going to be there. And I think that they're very good at, once they set the goal, being able to follow through on the goal. And I just expect we'll get the return to the norm. Now, do I think it's going to necessarily be a dominant victory? I think my hope is no. My hope is that they have to work hard for it, and they have tough games, and they have to play a really tough bracket. My hope is that they have to work for it, because my conclusion at the end of this major, if they win it, is this settles the debate. This is my stance, right? People don't have to agree with me. That's fine. My stance is winning the third consecutive major to equal Astralis, plus all the other accolades that they have up until this point, and the fact that they're going to continue playing tournaments from this point forward, guarantees them ends the debate, finishes the conversation that they are the greatest Counter-Strike team of all time. So that little bit of extra motivation, I think, you know, goes a long way. So yeah, I'm all in on Vitality. So that's it.
I want to say, just as a conclusion before we move on,
Sorry.
I feel it's unfair that Navi has no money to their name. It's not like realistic to the
We're only
odds.
3 people.
But I just wanted to mention that. I don't think it's fair, but it is what it is, and it's a game. We're playing with the rules that the house set, and you're the house.
And I'm the house.
Yeah.
So
Chad,
gentlemen,
the house, Birchill.
we have 2, maybe 3 things. We have one thing we definitely have to do. We have one thing that we definitely should do, and we have one thing we could do if we want.
Okay, we actually need to do the what are the odds?
Yes.
That we have
What
to
are
do.
the odds is the thing we have
Pick'ems
to do.
we should do, and then what's the last?
About some of these other events, but Striker actually mentioned it earlier, so we don't have to do it. I guess we could just save it.
We can, we'll see. We're not in like 15 minutes. Fine, we can.
Okay.
We can wrap it up.
Okay, so let's start with the what are the odds. We need to determine, because I didn't come up with anything. I thought the conversation would lead us in a way where we could maybe use something that we'd spoken about, whether it's like the most maps played or the MVP, or maybe we could do something, what are the odds a certain team, doesn't go 0-3, right? There's a lot of different angles that we could do here.
What if we did, what are the odds? I know we're never going to find that out, but what are the odds stickers earn more than the previous major?
We'll find that out.
I have nothing to base that on, though. Like, I don't mind doing it, but I have nothing to base that on.
That's true.
I could give a rationale, right?
We can throw out something. Just something that popped on my mind. We can give some more ideas.
I don't mind that as a thought. Like we can roll there, or what do you got anything, Striker?
No, I can't.
What are the odds?
Good.
Someone will use a stand-in during the major.
I mean,
unexpected emergency stand-in.
Well, yeah,
that's
I guess
also
it would
like
have
random
to
as
be...
fuck. Like what? What do we? How do we decide? What's the percentage of that?
Yeah, it's
what usually happens during a major that people are like, oh my god.
That's the one upsets.
Yeah, I guess here's what we could do. What are the odds?
Oh yeah, okay.
That an Australian team doesn't go 0-3.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Neither of the neither of the
FlyQuest
Australian teams go 0-3.
Either or neither. Or both.
Both get wins is what we're looking at.
Yeah. Is that too?
Sure.
Is that fine? Does that work?
Yeah, that's fine.
Why not?
Okay.
So
all right.
What are the odds?
Both get wins.
What are the odds?
Yes. Yeah. So,
yeah, an Australian team doesn't go 0-3. Well, actually, but then that would be either.
Yeah. So that's why we're asking if we're talking about. No, I mean, yeah. It means both, because
it means
if
both.
one of the Australian teams goes 0-3, that means this is void.
Okay, so
you can just write it as both Australian teams don't go 0-3. That's much clearer. Much clearer.
Both Australian teams win a game. Whatever. That's the
okay.
Exactly.
What are the odds both Australian teams win a game? There you go. All right, that's fine. Either way, we know the rough idea here.
There we go.
So in Kick Chat, you're all going to get a chance to have a vote on this. A lot of people are going to have Thunder Down Under or FlyQuest or both as their 0-3. So
sure.
I think the consensus as far as pick'ems are concerned is going to be very heavily weighted in that way. I did provide a little bit of information there around FlyQuest practicing, whereas for Thunder Down Under, it's different. They won't be practicing at all. They're just going to be flying in and playing. So they're going to be doing it very old school. Let's start with, I guess we'll just start with me because mine's going to be the most biased. Both teams win a game. I'm going to go both teams win a game. 70%. And it's just based on pure, unadulterated Australian pride. That's it. It's not based on any actual gameplay element. FlyQuest, I give an uptick because of the practice. Thunder Down Under, I give an uptick because no pressure and Alistair likes yelling, fuck your pick'ems. It's not the best rationale I could give anybody playing at home, but it's some rationale. I saw Prof. As soon as I said 70%, you sat back in your chair. You couldn't believe it. Did you think I was going to go higher?
No, it's I can believe it, but I can't. It's unreasonable, but it's on brand, and I applaud you for your bravery. Okay. Or lack thereof, because you weren't brave enough to say what you actually think. You decided to pander to the crowd. And you know there's no chance. You know they're going to suck. But
there's
always
a chance.
Yeah, there's always a chance. The chance is 25%. That's the chance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure one of these will go 0-3.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
You actually got very close to like what would be kind of a realistic thing. I have to use AI for this because it's kind of
the math.
Too advanced
Milan,
math.
The math guy.
So the probability both teams win at least one game, I basically gave them like a 20 to 40% chance to win. Like from round to round, which is obviously like I'm just pulling that out of my ass. Like I'm like too CBA to go into like realistic probabilities. It got up to like 66%. So
66%.
no, 66% for one of them winning at least one. So 44% is both of them win at least one.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So 44%. There we go.
Okay.
I don't know if this is like who knows, fucking ChatGPT could be wrong with all this math, but I'll trust it. 44.
44.
So that's
That's
gonna
it.
be kind of in the smack in the middle.
Yeah,
Well, that's what
pretty
the
much.
people in Kick Chat, they're pretty close to that.
43, it seems. The other thing.
Yeah,
What's
which-
our...
Theirs is a different way of coming to the conclusion, but okay. Look, Australian Counter-Strike's not in a very good spot right now. Is it going to help the scene if they win games in stage 1 and still get eliminated? Probably not. Is it going to fuck up your pick'ems at home if you've picked them to go 0-3? Yeah. And that's really what this is all about, isn't it? Just ruining your chance at home from being able to get a diamond coin. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, cool. That's the what are the odds? Brought to you by Stake.
Shout out to Stake for sponsoring, and once again, Stake promotion every week keeps delivering. Weekly reload from Stake and HLTV Confirmed. You can claim it via support, where you can enter code HLTV.org and get $35 across 7 days.
Nice. Remember to gamble responsibly. Okay, thanks to Stake. Let's do pick'ems, and then let's close it down. So here's the problem with pick'ems: is we've done this a lot on this show. I've done it in a lot of different formats and stuff before as well. Pick'ems are a very individual thing, and we usually do like a group pick'em, but then we all have our own personal pick'ems. So do we want to do a group pick'em where it's the brain trust of the three of us as a consensus?
I think we should do a group one, yeah, because I haven't even done my individual one, so it would be just a bit of a struggle bus.
I don't do pick'ems, so.
Okay, so here's what we'll do: is I will
look at this cool fucking guy.
I'll share my screen in Counter, and we'll do pick'ems on mine. But that is just for the show.
We can do it on the HLTV, no?
We can do. I was just.
It's gonna be easier then.
And then we could. But okay, let me. I've got the CS opening right now. One moment, please, everybody. Like about 50%.
I can share my
Someone
screen.
just said, "Was Australian CS ever in a good spot?" Yeah.
There was one. There was
2019. It was pretty good. 2019 it was pretty good.
One moment in time.
That was probably the best time.
Back-to-back major top fours.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they were good. But then it all fell away.
Anyway, should I just share my screen for HLTV?
You can do.
pick'ems?
I was just
it's gonna
getting
make
there.
it easier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
you can do it. Share your screen and we'll go from there.
Okay, just crop the sides where I have all the secret functionality.
Secret functionality. The HLTV admin panels.
I mean, it doesn't really mean anything, but it's nice to
Yeah, more
keep
than
that.
I do.
Jelly?
A little bit.
Can add people to the Hall of Fame. Chad, let me know. I can add people to the Hall of Fame if you want. Just let me know. Slip a 50.
Oh, but I
No,
have one you don't. Let's
we
go.
had that conversation with that. What is Miss Harvey? Wait, do people know who's on the Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
panel?
the panel. Yeah.
Yeah, Potty, Lucas, me, Blair, and they brought that up. They were like, "Oh, what do we feel about like people who are not players being in the Hall of Fame?" I was like, "No fucking way. It's only players. You can't be putting anyone else in the Hall of Fame. They can get other honors at another point. You can't be. You have to be a player to be Hall of Fame, surely." Anyway, that's a different conversation for a different time. Okay, pick'ems. Let's leave the 3-0s and the 0-3s. Let's first of all shovel in 6 teams that we're confident will make it to the next stage, and then we can move those teams into the 3-0 category after the fact. So I think we can fly through this pretty quickly. Based off of what we had before with the pyramid, we would say Gamer Legion, Bait. Those two are pretty good.
Yeah.
Where would you go next, Striker, if you had to pick two?
I said I like MIBR. I think I would put them somewhere here too.
Yeah.
The
One
rest
more?
is now it's getting a bit tougher.
Okay. Do you have anyone, Prof, that leaps off the page? Yeah.
M80 maybe.
Yeah, I have them on mine.
I would put
So
M80.
I'd back you M80. I also have Heroic on mine.
I
even
would
though
put
they have a
Heroic
bit-
as well. Yeah.
And then I had Bet Boom, even though we don't know the roster.
Yeah, I think this is the
Heroic have
top
been
6.
looking a bit rough, but yeah.
I think this is a top 6.
So of these names, the question we have to ask ourselves right now, are any of these teams feeling like a lock for a 3-0? And I will answer that. I don't think any team here is a lock for a 3-0.
No.
This is where we have to take the punt, right? We need to take a gamble on this. A lot of people are blinded by recency bias with Gamer Legion and their performance making it to the final of Atlanta. And when I say
Yeah,
blinded,
but it's the best we have. Like that's the best we can rely on, really.
I know, but people to just jump and throw Gamer Legion in so quickly without like further consideration, I think is, I would just say, I'm not saying don't put them 3-0. I'm just saying consider that they're not as safe as you might think they are, right? Because there is a lot of variance available. The 3-0s are really quite, it is tough. So
For me, it feels like these two.
Yeah.
okay, I don't mind that.
I like both. Yeah.
I've flirted with a variation of that. Yeah, for sure. I've definitely flirted with that.
I feel like Bad Boom could also be there.
I was thinking about Bad Boom because they have Gaming Gladiators first as well.
A lot of stuff happens here with the conversation that I see from general users and people who are doing the pick'ems is what they happen is they come out and they go, yeah, but that match, these guys will play these guys in this round of the game, so they won't be able to both do that. And it's like there is no way you can rely. Exactly.
No,
exactly.
There's one result goes differently than you think, and then suddenly the second,
The
third
only thing
round
you
are
can,
just going to be different.
you can definitely take into account the first matches because those are locked in, and other than that, it's.
I mean, that's like the reason I would never pick Bait or Tyloo for 3-0s because it's like such a 50-50. I feel. For like the opener and like for example, you know.
Yeah.
So let's do the 0-3 teams and then we can work out with the remaining field what we think. So Gaming Gladiators for me is
I
a
think we all
hard
agree.
0-3 lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
That's for
Thunder as
sure.
I would have Thunder as my second, but I guess you two guys don't agree.
I wouldn't, but I don't know. I don't know, Chad. Maybe you would.
Why wouldn't you put them, Prof? Because me is just because I want them to do well. ASAP's a Perth boy, right? They're an Aussie team. They're literally a full five-man Aussie team. We haven't had that in a long time. There are no New Zealanders sneaking in here. None of that craziness. Literally 5 Aussie guys. So mine's a biased thing. But
because
why?
there's a clear pick, and that's NRG.
What the? Okay.
Because they suck balls.
Okay.
All right. I would have put Sharks if
they're
I had
obviously
second option.
Thunder Down Under are worse based on results and everything, but I just feel like they're coming with 0 pressure, and that's going to be good enough to win a game somewhere along the lines against some of these teams that should be beating them. Like every game they should lose, but they have a bit more quality.
Every
I think
game they should lose, but
they have some quality there, and that's why I think it's just too obvious, and it's never the obvious one.
I would put Sharks. If I had a second choice after Thunder, I would put Sharks. Lack of experience, just lack of regional exposition.
Also open to the Sharks pick.
I don't know who you have second, Chad.
In the 0-3, let me bring it up because like I said, I did move some stuff around recently. I'm pretty sure mine is Gaming Gladiators and Sharks.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive. I just want to double check. Like just anybody also who's listening to me talk about pick'ems now, my pick'ems will be done on Sunday or even Monday. My pick'ems will be completed last minute. I'm still changing things, checking things. Like, there's results coming in. Yeah, right now I have Gamer Legion and Bait is my 3-0s, and I have Gaming Gladiators and Sharks as my 0-3s.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with this.
These
I'm
two,
okay with this.
Probably.
And now we need to fill in 2 more spots to advance. And
oh man,
I have to put in Liquid.
I guess
I think
you
it's
have
crazy to not put in
It's
Liquid.
like kind of insane, but
With that quality of players, right? That should get them through.
The
matches,
rest
in
of
my
the
opinion.
field is just not that crazy.
it's funny when I just picked Big to win over them, but it is a best of 1. So
Can we do this for the final spot?
Yeah.
All 3 of Lucas, can Kick Polls do 3 options? Okay, we all 3 of us pick a different team of the remaining field and Kick chat vote who the last team should be.
Okay, I'll pick Tyloo.
fuck.
What? Yes or no? It does work.
Surely
Okay.
you have to have 3 option polls. Come on. Yeah, I wanted to pick Tyler as well. I will pick.
You can pick Tyloo. You can pick Tyloo. I'll go last.
I'll pick Sinners.
Okay, and I'll pick FlyQuest.
There we go.
Can I change mine? Can I make it big instead?
Oh, okay. So big.
Okay.
Do you still want Sinners?
I like it. No. I like it because now we're going for like the one gamble pick. That's like we're going for one surprise. That's a good one.
Okay, so big
Because either one of us is right. Either one of us gets through. It is a surprise to go through. So yeah.
So just whichever the people in Kick Chat vote for right now will become our last team here. So you guys in chat right now, have your vote. We'll see where this one ends up. I think it is going to be big, probably because our time zone is mainly Europeans right now. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be big. Bro, where do these people have so much faith on big? I guess having faith on big versus Sinners and FlyQuest is fair.
Anyone not picking big just didn't watch Blame F last major.
For fuck's sake.
What are we talking about?
Put
Did he
big
even play
there.
the last major?
I think that's the joke.
He did.
Well,
Budapest, he did play with Fnatic. But
it's fine. Put big there. We can't argue with it, can we?
that's crazy.
We can't argue with that logic. Bro,
I put it as
in stage 2. What are we talking about? He was good in stage 1. Fine.
I put it as a joke. I thought no one would vote for it.
Of course they're going to. They're Europeans, mate. They got a soft spot.
Well, you know what's great? It's not a democracy. So here we go.
You put big there.
There you go.
We said we'd do it. We got to do what the people want.
We can't bait people into
We got
voting
to let
and
them
not
believe
going
in
for
some
them.
institution. This is the last institution.
Believe in the HLTV confirmed institution.
There you go.
Democracy.
Are you going to make them your pick'ems, Prof?
I can save. There we go. We can follow through.
Okay,
So-
nice. All right, cool. And that's basically it. That's all we like. I was going to do this stuff with the Udnud stuff, but I think people just go follow him on Twitter. It's really cool to see like
It's also
talking
just
about.
I think it's better to leave it at the major and not talk about some of this extraneous stuff now.
Well, that's the problem with it, is because it exists all the time.
Yeah.
And it's always happening, but we don't have it as a focus right now. We have it as a focus for the first like 3 months, and then
better
focus
just let
shifts.
people know FaZe are playing the decider against 9Z. If you're a FaZe fan, go watch that.
go tune into that. There you go. If you want to see FaZe get more VRS points and maybe a bit more tournaments, they need to win some games. So go watch that. Okay. Again, for the people, on the 10th, pub quiz in Cologne. On the 17th is the live episode from the SK offices.
I guess we're not doing anything until then, like in terms of confirmed. There's not really any time.
There's no off day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
So we are going to have a hard go of things. We'll see if we can work something out when we're there. We'll all be there on site. We'll just see what kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
But I hope, we've gone over a lot of things. Obviously, the recappy stuff, I think it's just interesting for people to look at and muse over. Maybe people
Puts
liked it,
things
maybe people
into
didn't.
perspective. Yeah. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. And we'll go from there. Again, there's a lot to talk about always in Counter-Strike. So we've gone 20 minutes over this time. So I hope people enjoyed the episode. And yeah, that's about it. Anything else we want to say?
Goodbye.
Okay, that's it. All right. Shout out to Stake. Remember to gamble responsibly. Partner of the show, streamed exclusively to you on Kick. And you can catch it later on Spotify or YouTube or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for another episode of HLTV Confirmed. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you all during the IEM Cologne Major starting in a couple days' time. Goodbye.
The biggest news roundup, exclusive insights, all delivered to your inbox. Sign up to the HLTV newsletter today.